Be starting in just a sec, guys. Also, good evening, everybody. Hello, everybody. Good morning, good evening. How are you all doing today? Brundo, you have a Nazi problem too. The wildlife hasn't taken care of this. You Americans really think that Australia has this like crazy wildlife, but American wildlife is far more dangerous. We don't even really have predatory mammals here for the most part. We have a couple, but like not really. Hey, what's up, Etch? Good to see you, Comrade Lily, and I'm glad you're doing all right, even with like all things considered. Yeah, okay, so today we're gonna focus mainly on the Australian Nazis. We got a lot coming up this week, and I have some really fun ideas for us to go over this week. Oh, what's up, Latino Mifune? I think I got that one right this time. I got some interesting stuff, and we're gonna touch on it a little bit today, but I want to make that a proper segment. We're going to talk about OSINT, and it'll relate to what we're talking about with like the Nazi rally today, because I feel like maybe as the left, we ought to start learning how to figure out who the enemy is and learn some of the more difficult to access information. I'm not suggesting about like doxing people, though honestly, I wouldn't care if you did to a Nazi, but I think just understanding the concept of how to find out this information would be really helpful outside of this instance as well, just like in general, when we're talking about anything. Like the sovereign citizen movement, which is directly funded by the United States and contributes to this sort of thing. In fact, we're going to see quite a lot of parallels today. So the most dangerous animal here is the two-legged land sharks. That's true, and honestly, Aussie welder, it's pretty much everywhere. So, first and foremost, even though this event was advertised as the March for Australia, it was very clearly a Nazi rally. Everyone knew it was a Nazi rally. We talked about it being a Nazi rally well before, I mean, like weeks ago. And also, it's not like they were trying to hide it. The organizers were directly linked to like the National Socialist Network. But a lot of Australians showed up. A lot of Australians showed up not thinking about it being a Nazi rally. In fact, a lot of Australians, a shockingly amount of like liberal centrists showed up and were mad at the Nazis for showing up to the event they organized. So, like, you know, it is what it is. It was exactly the type of people you expect. It looked very much like Australia Day. I mean, like an uncomfortable amount of similarity there. And beyond that, it it resulted exactly how everyone thought. There was fights in the streets. It was bad. But let's start off, I guess. So first, glad to see the media at the very least here is using the correct wording. You know, they were Nazis. Now, part of the reason for this is likely just the fact that the Nazis aren't trying to hide that they are Nazis. Like, they were using these words themselves, but also it was so very overt and clear and bad that they couldn't try and spin this out of it. Like, you know what I mean? You would expect the media to try and find more like civil, centrist wording, and I'm sure they wanted to for this, but it got bad enough that they couldn't do it. Yeah, any doubt dispelled. Literally, like the wording is crystal clear. March for Australia rally has been ordered by neo-Nazi Thomas Sewell, this guy right here, to return to Federation Square up the guts of Burke Street. I don't know what the fuck that's supposed to mean, but, you know, is what it is. By the way, just a couple years ago, neo-Nazi Thomas Sewell avoids jail time over brutal attack on 9 Network security guard. Shocking. But just to really show how much of a Nazi rally this was, and we're not going to listen to the Nazis talk very much in general, but I mean, like, we usually talk about American politics here, so we're all used to listening to Nazis talk at this point. But it's important to really get a feeling for just how overt they made it. They were not trying to hide. It's also wild that usually the Nazis wear masks, and they did not wear any masks yesterday. It's a good sign that you can easily spot them because they're open about it. It's also a bad sign that they're open about it. Well, yeah, Comrade Lily, we've talked about, like, the only time when a fascist will drop the euphemism for what they are doing or what they want to do is when they feel they don't need it anymore. And that's not exactly where we want to be. Now, I did go to the one in Adelaide. I walked around town. I went a little early, like the Palestine counter-protest hadn't started yet, but I did not film it, because initially the idea was to go and to try and, you know, get some footage of this. But early on in the day, like before it actually started, it was so very clear how bad it was going to get. I mean, like, it was like 11 a.m. and I'm seeing Nazis Sieg Heiling in, like, the main city, like, streets of the city. In my tiny ass fucking city, mind you. And so I just dipped. So I was like, I'm not doing this. I was by myself. I didn't have anyone with me. I don't know, like, most of the, like, leftists in my town. To be fair, Australian leftists are insufferable to me for the most part. I have a harder time working with them than I do with the Americans. So I fucking left. I'm not having that. Hours until the only allies I could possibly find in the city were gonna start showing up, and it was already that bad. So, let's give it a listen.
My name is Jack Altus. I'm the state leader for White Australia in New South Wales.
I mean, like, first off, just calling their organization White Australia, it's not like they're trying to hide it.
Thank you all for coming here today. It's important that we show this government that we are fed up. The average Australian is absolutely fed up with the state of this nation. Our nation is now unrecognizable.
All right, well, just to really hammer this home, you guys can tell the rhetoric, right? It feels exactly like what we see at home in America. It is slowly ramping up to the point where, like, you feel comfortable. It will elicit, like, feelings of anger and injustice in you, and then they slowly try and shift that to pointing towards a scapegoat. Ian Leal, do you know the U.S. is set to invade Venezuela? I've talked about that for the last 2 weeks, Ian Leal. I won't be covering it today, but I will cover it this week. I imagine that will be closer to the end of the week. We're likely going to have the invasion of Chicago go down in the next 2 days, so I think it's the day after Labor Day. Are they using the same scripts? Yes, Etch, they are. They're using the exact same scripts. Quote, the average Australian thinks I'm a moron. Honestly, I wouldn't disagree with that. This guy looks like a fucking beaver. Many such cases with Nazis, Captain Buggy.
The average Australian is absolutely fed up with the state of this nation. Our nation is now unrecognizable. 1,500 immigrants per day. That's how many are coming in.
I'm not even sure that's correct, but 1,500 people per day? Are you fucking kidding me? This is a landmass the size of the continental United States with a population less than that of Florida. Now, granted, you can't live in the middle of Australia, but you can barely live in the middle of America. So, like, eh. Also, like, again, every single time these people come up here and they talk about how, like, there's the housing crisis because it's of immigration. No, the fuck it's not. No, the fuck it's not. The reason we have a housing crisis is not immigration, it is land banking. It's rich motherfuckers going and buying property and then keeping it empty to push the prices up. George Herbert Walker Bush's father, George H. Scherf, changed his name to Prescott Bush. Clinton's father was okay. Like, that's true. Yeah. Like, in fact, Bush's grandfather, Texas Crone, was such a Nazi that back in 1933, when they did the business plot and tried to overthrow FDR and install him with Smedley Butler as the fascist dictatorship, Bush's grandfather was not a part of that because he was too close to the actual Nazis in Europe that they thought it would not be good optics. He was too much of a Nazi for the American Nazi movement in the 30s. So, you know, these are top-down narratives being pushed. Absolutely, every time. Every time. It's the propaganda. It's the brainwashing. That's where this starts. In fact, I'm kind of, quite terrified, honestly. A lot of people showed up for these. Now, like, quite a lot of people showed up for the counter-protests, and there was clashes in the streets. And I am glad that the media is pointing out that this was a Nazi rally. But, again, how many steps down the radicalization pipeline does someone need to have gone before they start showing up to a Nazi rally? And as dumb as the average person in the world is today, I can guarantee you that a lot of the people who showed up here, who dislike Nazis, and who didn't want a Nazi rally, who just wanted to do, you know, their own kind of protest, still has to have gone down that pipeline quite a bit. Like, the idea of, well, you know, Nazis organized this, but I feel like the centrists and the conservative liberals could, I don't know, take control. Like, what kind of rationality are you making here? How far down the rabbit hole have you gone to be able to do this mental gymnastics? On the outskirts of Perth, and I did not see anything about this. I'm not sure how many turned in Perth CBD. Perth is actually one of the big cities I didn't hear much about Aussie Welder. For the most part, it seems like this was centralized to, like, Adelaide, Melbourne, and Sydney. I know a lot of local municipalities, like smaller towns, had their own marches, but like some places had like 6 people show up. I know that there's one town, I think it was actually Townsville, where one person showed up. One singular person showed up.
Indians, Africans, Chinese, all here to exploit our lands.
Well, you know, now you're getting a bit more overt. Thank you, Bunkor. Don't worry, I got quite a few sources up. It's 5,000 in Perth. Not bad. Like, the population of people who went to the March for Australia protest, the Nazi rallies, is actually far less than the combined number of people who showed up for counter protests across the country. I think. Like, I've yet to get a full confirmed set of numbers, but it at least looks as much. Town called Townsville? City called Citytown? No. Not Citytown. But yes, it is a town called Townsville. Only 300 to 500 counter-protesters in Perth? Yeah, I wouldn't expect too much counter-protests in Perth. It's Perth. Wait till we get to Melbourne. In fact, let's move on off this motherfucker and take a look at Melbourne. Actually, I suppose we should start off with the fact that it's been confirmed to everybody, including on like the mainstream media, that this was organized by Nazis, which is important to consider. 1967, Coronado Military Base. They built a building complex in the swastika shape. Yep, of course. Like, Texas Chrome, we've talked about this at length on this channel. America inspired the Nazis. So, is Perth the Alabama of Australia? It's kind of like the Texas, but less shitty. It's also, like, imagine Democrat Texas. And I mean Democrat derogatory. Which is still ideal compared to Republicans, but still.
Well, anti-immigration marches are taking place in cities around the country today. ABC News Verify has been looking into some of the people behind the marches. Joining me now is Matt Martino from the ABC Verify team. Morning to you, Matt. What can you tell us about what you've uncovered looking into these protests?
Good morning, Lorna. The March for...
Well, they were doing all of the stuff that we were doing, Rondo. Like, a lot of the Nazis' policies came from Jim Crow era laws in America. Like, they looked over at what we were doing and said, hey, I like that. We should start doing that. And then they did. We're off to see the wizard. Wizard ain't doing shit. Like, if only there was an actual fucking wizard, that'd be great. What's up, Long Homo sapien?
For Australia bills itself as what the organisers call a march against mass migration. There may be some Australians out there that have legitimate concerns about the current level of immigration, but the views of the organisers, what we've uncovered, show that their views go far beyond.
Americans are less and less so in the dark as we're going on Texas Grown. I mean, like, we're talking about, like, I've shown on this stream the whites only town in Arkansas they're trying to make, which is also populated by Nazis. This is a worldwide problem. Hell, this issue in Australia is directly the cause of the United States. Like, we have Nazis here because Americans have been trying to make Nazis a thing here in, like, every way for years. What technically is a Nazi? Don't ask stupid questions. You know what a Nazi is.
Beyond what most mainstream Australians would accept as immigration policy. So, for example, on the website when it was first established,
people were wearing MAGA hats. Yeah, I know. Like, Jajex, this is what I want to, like, really make clear here, because a lot of people hate Labour and the Albanese government right now, and mind you, very valid criticisms. But the other side, like Dutton in that election, they were already wearing MAGA hats pre-elect. Could you imagine if Dutton was, like, the prime minister? They wore MAGA hats months before the election already. They were talking about make Australia great again. They wanted Australian Doge. How much worse shape would we be in now? With everything. I mean, I'm talking like the internet surveillance, with the Nazi rallies, with like the anti-immigration laws. We would be horrible, exactly. And I need people to keep that in mind, because as shit as Labour is right now, we could be way worse off. And like, yeah, no, they were wearing MAGA hats down under.
Back in early August, there was a reference to the white nationalist concept of remigration. And what people at home should know about remigration, if they haven't heard that term before, is it's a white nationalist term that calls for the repatriation of non-European immigrants from Western countries, ostensibly to...
Y'all, fuck that. Like, it goes so much further. These are not only Nazis, but as is common with Nazis, they're also incredibly fucking stupid. Like genuinely, I heard people talking about wanting to deport indigenous people to the bush, which, like, in the context of this is our country, do you not think the bush is still part of Australia, for one? Like, two, how the fuck are you gonna deport indigenous people? It's not deporting them, it's kidnapping them. But, like, yeah, I love the no foreign flags with the Union Jack being on the Australian flag. Well, of course, you know, like, no foreign flags only means no brown people flags. I was down the rabbit hole of North Korea documentary videos. Did you see Kim in China this week?
Their country of origin. So it goes quite far beyond what most people here would accept. And that reference was later deleted. So they're trying to sort of massage the message to get regular Australians along to this march. And that's not the only example we found of that. We did find an audio live stream of one of the key organisers, who goes by the name Beck Freedom, and she also goes by the name Beck Walker online.
We'll look more into this just, like, as we go on, because I'm getting a little bored and we have a lot of stuff to have a look at. Texas Grown, you seem very informed, kind of fresh air for this new media. I've blown off anything mainstream. It's such terrible propaganda for the state. Thank you. I try my best. Like, we watch mainstream media on this channel regularly, but it's usually just so that I could yell at them. It's not like you can't find this information yourself. They've just made it incredibly difficult to do so. And so many people now just don't want to look at anything that makes them uncomfortable. Like, even if they know that it is real, that it is a risk to themselves, if it makes them sad, they just don't want to engage with it. They put it out of their brain, and then it gets even worse and worse and worse. It's an ongoing issue, and it comes from an inability to cope with discomfort. Aussie Welder, they're insane. I wish people would go out bush if they hate being around people. Well, like, of course, these are the people that think that they're sovereign citizens. I did a whole, like, breakdown on that, and it was just one-to-one Obama's second term era proto-Republicans just down here. And honestly, yeah, no, I do wish they would go live in the bush. Go to fucking Alice Springs and live in, I don't know, New America. What does the bush mean in Oz? It means, like, the outback, the middle of Australia. Hold on, let me pull up a map. It means the part of Australia which is incredibly hot and dry and is just a desert, and very few people live in it. Which would be right around here. Northern Territory down to, like, northern South Australia. The woods. It's not the woods. The woods requires a forest, mate. The Australians should never let go of the fact that there are Nazis and they want to do evil things and will destroy Australia. Well, I hopefully we don't forget that. But the thing is, the issue here comes from Australia's culture, which is the she'll be right aspect of it, the I don't want to worry about it aspect of it, the I'll just have a beer with the boys and it'll be fine type thing. Now, that helps in a way. It's actually much more difficult to radicalize Australians into Nazis because Nazis require constant fuel of, like, anger, aggression, and fear, and the Australian mentality is, by default, oh, I can't be fucked. So, like, there is a lot of shit that they have to do. There's a lot more boxes that they have to tick off for Australians to give a shit. But it's also easier for them to do so without it being very obvious because people forget. Now, and some good news though, they're not popular. Here's an example of this. This was at the Adelaide rally. This is a Nazi speaker who got booed off stage. And the Adelaide Nazi rally actually ended early after this. The organizers abandoned it and they fucked off and they went home. Now, probably because Melbourne was getting quite a bit more heated, but
they want us to be quiet about the record numbers of invaders that are invading our country. Armed savages invade our home.
Jesus Christ, like, not even 10 seconds in, we're talking about invaders and savages.
But we're punished for defending ourselves.
To the NSN supporters in my...
I don't care what this motherfucker has to say. It was mostly just, I wanted you to see, like, the kind of rhetoric. And, again, this guy did get booed, and he was so unpopular, that, I mean, like, they left. But here's the issue, right? The last time Nazis came and tried to do a rally in Adelaide, like a month or 2 months ago, they got chased out by the cops on horseback and arrested. That did not happen this time. So, do you think Australia is getting invaded by mermaids or something? Y'all are on an island? Yeah, literally. Like, we're getting invaded by Nazis. That's what's happening. Here's another view. Here's a video of an organizer literally inviting the National Socialist Network member to speak as a, quote, very special guest. It's not like it was hidden. Wouldn't surprise me if my cousin was at the Nazi rally in Adelaide. Jajex, if they were, then you got some work to do. By the way, actually, speaking of, y'all who were in Adelaide, I know I was supposed to meet some of y'all yesterday. I did not stick around enough just because I did not want to go in over my own head. I've never been to a riot in Australia yet. I had to see how that plays out. But if you do want to meet me, I will be going to the Adelaide show this coming weekend, and like I'll make a post about it. You guys can come and see me and take a photo or like hang out. It'd be actually hella cool to meet some of you in person. So, besides that, here is one of the organizers literally inviting a Nazi to speak up.
And I have a very special guest here. His name is Josh. So if you'd like to come up, Josh, and say something to everyone. Thank you.
Okay, we've got Josh here. I don't know, I've never met Josh before, but...
Hello everyone, my name is Josh. I'm from the National Socialist Network.
Like the fact that anyone cheered. Like the only correct thing to do at this point when he came up and said, "Hey, I'm Josh, I'm from the National Socialist Network," would be to throw beer cans at him and leave.
And I have a very special...
But, like, yeah. This is arguably, in some ways, more overt than America. I can imagine a plunger sticking perfectly to his head. Hey, gotta do it. Gotta do it. There was a drone flying around, obviously. I imagine there was one of these at every, major city.
As you know, it's not the truth. Alright, if you see it on TV, it doesn't mean it's the truth. Okay. What pisses me this from a political standpoint, and I'm really here, is that me...
UFO. No, it's a police drone. It's like the Reapers, the LAPD flew around the LA protest. Look at this is exactly the type of people you expect to march in this. It looks like fucking Australia Day, guys. Did anyone put that together? Did anyone think, hey, maybe, the rally where we're talking about banning migration, mass deportation signs, and literal Nazi support in organizers, maybe we shouldn't, make this look literally one-to-one like fucking Australia Day? It is the same people.
Is everybody ready?
Jesus Christ. Whoever that dude is, he's having far too much fun.
Is everybody ready?
Most would have thought it was an Aussie Day piss-up, not even knowing who organized it. That's the thing, though, right? Is this was everywhere. Like, you should have known who organized it. Everyone was talking about it for weeks. Like, it was known that this was organized by Nazis last month. Hell, actually, even by late June, we knew. But then, we'll have a look at Melbourne now, where it did end in some violence. Now, I might get in trouble for this, but whoever punched a Nazi in Melbourne, I'm proud of you. This, however, is a Nazi punching someone who's not one. There's the leader of the National Socialist Network. It's insane that they're allowed to do this kind of shit when pro-Palestine protesters... Oh wait, is it? I thought they were attacking just like a journalist there. RV is a Zionist Nazi? Oh, well then okay, it's just Nazis versus Nazis in that point. So, I'm fine with that one. Does Albanese get down with these guys? No. Like, the Albanese government is Labor. We're, technically to the left of the Democrats in the United States. The issue being Australia is an American colony, and so there's quite a lot of a push from America to do things that are unpopular in Australia. Yeah, Nazi on Nazi clashes is fine. I don't care about that. They can fight each other to the death for all I care. A lot of the news that we're looking at is right-wing, Zhezhex. It doesn't matter. The point is, I'm not. We pulled this one up just because it's a clip. I have more for what's actually gone down in Melbourne anyway. Let's take a look at Brisbane as well. That was loud and probably the start of a copyright song. There was a lot of people. A lot of people. Pan flagpoles for real. At this point, like, I support that etch, yeah. I don't want anyone flying their flag. I'm getting hella tired of this discourse about flags everywhere. I don't give a fuck about your flag. I don't give a fuck about any flag. It's fabric, man. Grow up. It's Hobart, Canberra. Actually, there's all of them. Didn't realize. It's basically DC. I mean, like, in a lot of these Nazi rallies, it was piss poor turnout, which is good. Far too many still. Far too many. And again, like, I can't make this clear enough. The vast majority of the people who showed up on the Nazi side were centrist liberals who weren't Nazis themselves, but were okay with everything the Nazis were trying to put out. Now, is the difference real? Yes. Is it a large difference? No. It's a very minuscule one, and it is getting smaller as time goes on. But I did enjoy seeing this kind of shit, but think about the kind of person who reacts the way that we're going to see to this guy saying what he's saying. He's saying, you invaded this country. You stole the land. And mind you, they did. There's, like, I mentioned Australia Day. For the Americans, that's essentially the 4th of July. And quite a lot of people in Australia refer to Australia Day as Invasion Day. So, you know.
You invaded this country, you stole the land, you encouraged genocide. You are the one that had privilege from it, you are guilty. My great-grandfathers had ritual, bro. There was a lot of them that was troopers and shot us.
They are exactly the type of people who would say that they're, like, Native Australian or some shit, like that fucking guy who said he was Native American in the Jubilee debate. They're not pro-Palestine supporters, that's why. That's also true. Are they tied to the Bandera group in Ukraine? These guys? Probably not. You know what they are tied to, though? They're tied to CPAC Australia, the Atlas Network, and also the fossil fuel industry. So, you know, there's all that. But, like, the idea of, oh, well, my great-grandfather was having a great old time, when you're faced with, like, an Aboriginal person saying you invaded the country and stole the land when they're walking around calling immigrants invaders. I remember in the late 80s this same shit happened, but it was the Asians that they hated and they targeted. Well, of course, because they want you to hate immigrants so that you don't get angry at the billionaires that keep ruining your life. But, you know, it is what it is. So, here's Bob Qatar. Now, I can't stop calling him Bob Qatar. It's too far gone now. If you don't know who this guy is, let me show you. He is Australia's most unhinged politician. This guy just last week threatened to punch a journalist in the mouth for asking if he was why he was supporting the Nazi rally and the anti-immigration stuff when he is of Lebanese descent. This is actually Australia's most famous Lebanese politician. But
oh, Mike, don't say that, because that irritates.
You've got Lebanese heritage yourself.
Oh, Mike, don't say that, because that irritates me, and I punch blokes in the mouth for saying that. Don't you dare say that. My family have been in this country for 140 years, right? So and if you say anything like that, I have, on many occasions, punched blokes in the mouth, right?
So, like, this Lebanese politician, the most famous Lebanese politician in Australia, Bob Qatar, his name says Qatar, but it's Qatar, was in support of the Nazi rally. Bob Qatar is Hezbollah? Yes, no, it's Qatar, not Qatar. Spell it correctly, but possibly, you know? Can he even count to 140? No. Thought it was at the Texas Capitol, LMFAO. This really does feel like the Texas Capitol, doesn't it, Texas Crone? The fucking massive cowboy hat and everything. Yeah, 140 years, by the way, is not like... You're still Lebanese, my guy. Your dad was brown.
So I'm restraining myself today. I'm an Australian. My family have been here since the dawn of time. That's the end of it. Don't say that. Don't say that because you're a racist. I want their names.
And that's the other part. Here's the another direct from the American playbook strategy is call the anti-racist racists. Oh, sorry, you know, you're gonna call out the fact that you're supporting white nationalism and, you know, neo-Nazism. You're a racist. You're an anti-white racist. Now, I'm gonna show you a short TikTok, which arguably is a little racist, but it is, Turkish people and Lebanese people. I can give them the pass for this. And honestly, I don't disagree with the framing here. It's not actually like ill intent. It makes a point that makes sense of how silly it is that like we even take these people seriously. Now this is like friendly Geordies. A lot of people don't like friendly Geordies. I can understand why. I think he's kind of funny, but this is how I think people need to start engaging with people like Bob
We have
Qatar,
a member of parliament visiting.
Shut up! I didn't press play. But I have seen the start of this. I saw quite a lot of signs saying Bob Qatar is Lebanese yesterday. But like it's the idea of being mean to the right in a way that hurts their feelings.
Class, today we have a member of parliament visiting us. Oh, no way, it's the Lebo. Boys, it's the Lebo from TV. Oi, hide your wallets, he'll staunch us.
Aha! Just as I suspected, this so-called Albanese education revolution is re-educating our kids to be racist.
By the way, that's literally what the guy believes, and here is him speaking into a neo-Nazi megaphone yesterday. While, you know, at the Nazi rally, talking into the Nazi megaphone, while also calling people who called him out for, you know, his neo-Nazism and his support of them as strange considering he's Lebanese. I don't know. It's kind of silly.
What the f*** are you talking about, you dumb lad?
You keep saying that and I'll slap your bottom like a drought master that doesn't want to get on the track.
Bro, how are you saying you're not a lab when you're that fucking aggro? Like, where do you think all this anger is coming from, bro? It's coming from your genes, lad.
I'm getting angrier than chili sauce in a mixed plate, and that's got nothing to do with me being a lab. Got it? You know what we did to cheeky little mongrels like you in my day?
Give me a kebab.
No!
Okay, the give me a kebab bit got me fucking
I told you.
cackling my ass off. I like this idea. It's dark woke. It's the way. Dark woke is the way. And again, the point is, this is specifically only offensive to actual racists. No one who's not a neo-Nazi is getting offended by this. And that's the point. You can utilize their strategies against them. Just make sure you do it in a way that is actually useful to the cause that you are working towards, in a way that doesn't backfire on you. There's nothing like actually negative being said in this video. It's why are you like, you are aggressive? Why? Because you're Lebanese? Lebanese people are fucking mad. Which honestly is based. I quite like that fact about Lebanese people. They are very angry. And they have every goddamn right to be. Now, Bob Qatar doesn't, but that's the point.
Please.
Oh! When will the racist tide rains?
Same type of people who will then go and take power and then start, I don't know, making concentration camps and throwing thousands and thousands of civilians in them. It's literally the same pearl-clutching virtue signal that the right in America would act like just a year ago, just 2 years ago. Honestly, like 7 months ago.
Yeah, bro, look at your nose. It's a big chicken caboose.
My abnormally large nose.
allows me to smell bigotry. And I can smell it coming off you from a mile away, mate. And it smells... Oh! It...
Just be mean to them. Don't let them have fun. You should have fun. In fact, this is more America-centered, but I think that this really needs to be picked up by the left everywhere. We need to start doing this for all of the Nazis and the fascists. Bring in footy chants, like European soccer chants to piss them off. Could you imagine the American right dealing with something like this?
This video is for the Americans. I don't mean like the MAGA ones, I mean like the other ones. So if you're not an American who's going to be at the protest, keep scrolling. Now, witnessing your music festivals, I think there's one thing that can make them a lot better, and it's football chants. Hear me out. Obviously, the States is really shit at chanting, you know, fight and win. But just imagine how pissed off you're going to get this little orange cunt if you start chanting like, Putin is your brother, Epstein is your lover, you all fuck one another, the Trumpy family, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da. He would go fucking mental. You could have the call.
They would go fucking mental. Could you, like, this would be incredibly effective.
In response, what do you think of Trump? Cunt. What do you think of cunt? Trump. Thank you. That's alright. We hate the Trumps, we hate the Trumps, we hate the Trumps, we hate the Trumps.
Oh my god, thank you for the raids, chat. Everyone go and drop a follow to the based streamer, the chat. We are currently just breaking down the Nazi rally. Why did that shout out not work? There we go. About the Nazi rally in Australia, we're talking about Bob Qatar right now, the most famous Lebanese politician in Australia. While on top of that, we're talking about how it would be useful to utilize European-style footy chants in left-wing like protests and messaging, and just like it's incredibly funny, and it is so useful to pissing off the right, which we need to start really pushing for. Like the trying to explain reality to these people stuff does not work. Just be mean to them and make them cry.
I don't mean like the MAGA. This video is for the Americans. I don't mean like the MAGA ones, I mean like the other ones. So if you're not an American who's going to be at the protest...
Oh yeah, it's Qatar now. It's not Qatar anymore. It's just Qatar.
Keep scrolling. Now, witnessing your music festivals, I think there's one thing that can make them a lot better, and it's football chants. Hear me out. Obviously, the States is really shit at chanting, you know, fight and win. But just imagine how pissed off you're going to get this little orange cunt if you start chanting like, Putin is your brother, Epstein is your lover, you all fuck one another, the Trumpy family, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da. He would go fucking mental. You could have the call and response, what do you think of Trump? Cunt. What do you think of cunt? Trump.
As an Australian, I give all of you Americans the pass to say cunt as much as you want when you're talking to these people.
Thank you. That's alright. We hate the Trumps, 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 we hate the Trumps. We are the Trump haters. You pretend you're not a ped, but your daughter's in your bed. Anything, just it would get him.
Including shit cunt and sick cunt. Yeah, just don't, use them incorrectly. Make sure you get them right.
Seething. That's how you get under his skin. You have to be just as dumb as that twat. And it would...
Now apply this everywhere. Not just in America. You can do this kind of shit everywhere. I mean, to be fair, like we already do in Australia, we already do in England to an extent, on the left, but normalizing that kind of chant is incredibly funny. You bring joy to it. It has to feel like a footy chant. It has to be fun. You have to enjoy yourself while making the other side cry. Oh, thanks for the follow, guys. Well, Netanyahu's next door. I'm not sure he isn't a Nazi rebrand. No, Netanyahu is literally a Nazi. So, it's a very underutilized word in the US. Cunt? Absolutely. Absolutely. Everyone is shifting now here, left, right, really has lost its meaning. Well, like, Texas grown. You know what? You're correct, because I say this all the time. There is no left versus right here. Like, it doesn't exist. Left versus right is a false dichotomy. The only real fight is up versus down. That's the only fight. The Nazis, who we consider right, are just agents of the capital class, the billionaires. They're up, and then the rest of us are all down. That's the only real fight. People like Bob Qatar over here is like specifically supporting the billionaire class by doing this, by having this Nazi microphone that he is talking into, by supporting the Nazi rally. It's not about Nazis. It's about the rich. It's always been about the rich. Hell, like, Nazism is generally also about the rich wanting to do socialism for themselves while making sure all of you still live in capitalism. It's now corporate socialism. Yeah, it's basically always been. Like, Nazis were also just corporate socialism. It was just never actually socialism. It was just corporatism. Class war, not politics. It's class war, not any other war. It's the only war. Now, again, a lot of this kind of like action in Australia, specifically the rise of Nazism, comes from the rise of the far right. Sovereign citizens. I did a 2-hour breakdown on this, I think actually a 3-hour breakdown on this last week, and we're going to continue on with it, but these are directly funded by CPAC. These are directly funded by the Atlas Network. These are directly funded by the fossil fuel industry.
32 hours since Desi Freeman opened fire, killing 2 police officers and fleeing into the bush. Hundreds of police officers will be working long into the evening using their intelligence to track this man down. They are facing tough conditions like potential traps, but they are using police dogs to potentially sniff out any leads and those traps too. But this search is made all the more harder.
So this is in relation to a sovereign citizen who went and killed 2 cops, which like the media is quite mad about. The important part of this isn't even this event in and of itself. It's the fact that there was support shown for this person, a sovereign citizen, at these Nazi rallies. There's a very clear tie-in. Police officers having intelligence, yeah, not very common. I thought it was a school shooting. No, it's not. It's complicated. This has been like a 6-day manhunt now. This guy killed 2 cops and just dipped. His wife made a statement today, like asking him to surrender himself. But the point isn't the actual thing that the guy did. It's not even the guy. It's the movement behind the guy. I don't hope he gets away. Just because he killed cops doesn't mean he's a good guy. Like, in fact, he's specifically a Nazi. Like, there was... I mean, like, I don't know if he himself is a Nazi, but he's clearly part of the movement. The Nazis were supporting him. So, no, I don't hope he gets away. I personally hope that the sovereign citizens face a insane amount of repercussions, so they just stop doing that. Like, do I want change to how, like, we view Nazis, police and how we engage with them? Absolutely. The cops are fucking pigs. Hell, they will let, like, the Nazis do their thing. We had in Melbourne yesterday the cops standing on the stage next to the Nazi guy giving his speech, while they'll also beat the shit out of pro-Palestine protesters. But this is a whole other thing. Yeah.
Because this man lives off the grid and is a so-called sovereign citizen, something that ASIO says is now on the rise.
Just north of Porpunka last year...
Leave your car and get out!
Thanks, Bounce House. I can't fix it. It's been ongoing for a couple days. Usually it only happens if I bump into something, though.
You're trespassing!
An apparent sovereign citizen takes on police near Rutherglen, the aggressor claiming the officer had no right to be on his property.
Drop the taser now!
The rise of the sovereign citizen movement on home soil has been rapid and accused
yeah, it's because it's literally manufactured by the United States.
Gunman Desi Freeman is believed to be part of the groundswell of extremism, labelling police Nazis and terrorist thugs while taking an officer to court.
While people at the Nazi rally yesterday support this. They call the police Nazis and thugs and then show up to actual Nazi rallies.
Over his cancelled driver's licence.
These gutter rats are trying to hide the truth.
The AFP and ASIO
What, the truth
have known
that you shouldn't be driving without, like, an expired license?
noted the extremist ideology has had a recent resurgence.
COVID and its associated lockdowns fueled and accelerated spikes in grievance, conspiracy and anti-authority belief.
Hey, Mike Burgess, you gonna do a better job than America did? Because we knew for 10 years that the biggest risk of terrorism in the United States was from right-wing Nazis, and they still won and got to start building their Reich. So you're a bit late already. What have you done for it? Not much, really. Not much at all, actually. By the way, like, insane, but so not surprising that following the March for Australia, the Nazi rally, where a whole bunch of, Australians went out and talked about how the country is being destroyed and how no one cares about the country and how we need to stop immigration, you start finding Australian flags in the bin, like, immediately after. Not very, patriotic of you guys, I would say. I didn't see any, pro-Palestine flags in the bin. Also, as you could expect, the type of people who showed up to this have no actual beliefs or, ideals that they stand by. Oh shit, 950 subs. Thank you guys. Hey, what's up, State Your Thesis? Because you want to know what a lot of these people did after their Nazi rally and their anti-immigrant rally? They went and got Chinese food. Like, you can't make this up. As, like, a comedian could not make a joke this on the nose. They showed up to a Nazi rally, an anti-immigrant Nazi rally, and then went and got Chinese food. That's probably not actually Chinese food, but rather Western Chinese food. Well, I mean, in most cases it's that, Captain Buggy. But Australia also does have much more, actual Chinese food. I have no words. I mean, are you surprised, guys? Are any of you surprised at this? Because I'm not. This sounds exactly like what I would have expected. In fact, this sounds like exactly the type of thing the people that you would expect to go to this would then do. And again, people, flying this. Now, this was nothing to me. This actually meant I did not care at all. It was actually not at all surprising that the people at the Nazi rally supported the sovereign citizen. But of course, you got the other sides like, oh, well, you guys are holding up signs and pictures of the Ayatollah at the pro-Palestine rallies. As if that's the same thing. The leader of a country versus some drunk right-winger who killed 2 cops. But still, while Chinese restaurants are very American fusion, they still are run by Chinese people mostly. Yeah, but you guys are talking about America anyway. This is about Australia now. Your dad's favorite food is curry and a kebab? Probably, yeah. Mix the increasing disenfranchised white people with a touch of amphetamines and you all end up with Australian Nazis. Well, yeah, that's kind of the worry, Jimmy Normandy, because once you got this far, it's not exactly all that far you have to go to fully fall to the zombie virus. That's how the zombie virus works, after all. These were regular-ass people, and they were taught to get mad about immigration, even though there's nothing to get mad at with immigration in Australia. In fact, we desperately need it, even more so. And then they get radicalized slowly over to full-on Nazism. But also, you do have to remember that Australia, although not anywhere near as bad currently, is built on the same type of settler colonialism as, Israel. Sounds like the Patriot Front. They show up in matching gear and flags, jump out of U-Haul trucks, and I'm sure it's financed by the feds or finance actors. Well, the Proud Boys are partially financed by the feds, especially, this administration, but they've been in existence for quite a long time, Texas Grown, and also they get funded mostly just by corporate America in that case. I mean, same type of people who fund the sovereign citizens here. So let's take a look at some of the videos of the protests across the country.
good.
The United States of Australia, I mean, that's also true. So what happened in Melbourne, which is what I think we're looking at right now, is there was a point in time where the two groups met without police presence, and that ended exactly how you thought it would, where the pro-Palestine march and the Nazi march ended up facing each other without cops around, and that turned into a fight. This is the most unserious group of radicals ever. They're losers. They're literally exactly the same as MAGA, pre-MAGA. This is just like Tea Party Republicans during Obama's second term, except like further along as well. Yep, that's the Nazis fighting with the non-Nazis. Again, if you punched a Nazi, I'm proud of you. Good for you. Mass immigration now. Where is there mass immigration? Where? Where the fuck does that exist in this country? It doesn't, mind you. I became a citizen this year. I'm well aware of what immigration is like in this country. I just finished going through that process. There is no mass immigration. Hogs getting their ass beat? We don't see that anywhere near enough. Oh, look, here's a Nazi, and here's a Nazi, and, you know, it's actually helpful when they all dress the same and in uniform. Also, literally front and center at this march. Absolutely, Jimmy Normandy. I mean, this is a product of neoliberalism. In fact, like, this is what the rich do when they want to trick you. This is like over and over and over again we've seen this happen. God bless the Australians and their racism. God bless the people who beat the fuck out of the racists. Ladies and gentlemen, incels of Australia, absolutely. Did you know that 10 trillion people move to Australia every 2 weeks? That's at least 7 a second. That's absolutely true. Genuine losers. All of them. Every last one of them. Massively so. Like, this woman said it better than I could have. Just took the words straight out of my mouth, honestly.
Footage from this March for Australia rally is fucking it is so embarrassing. These people look exactly.
They were saying oi oi oi, not oink oink oink. It's the traditional answer when someone shouts Aussie Aussie Aussie. It's a footy thing.
Yeah, you think they look, and they're the exact kind of people that you would imagine would go to these fucking rallies. Not a coherent thought between the lot of them nationwide.
You'll see when we get to the interviews, they really have no thoughts, just action. It's just NPC, wind them up, and then they will go and do the thing.
Interviews that I've seen, fucking, like, all of them are holding a stubby for some reason. All of them have got a beer. I mean, obviously. And they're all...
I mean, obviously, alcoholism is the national pastime.
All just going, yeah, nah, Albo's gotta go. The government works for us, actually. So yeah, Albo, like, they don't even have demands. They don't have requests. They don't have a plan. They don't even know what the fuck they're there for. All they're fueled by is hate and racism.
Yeah, and that's manufactured. That's from the media that they like ingest every day. Human beings are funny as hell. So many storybook characters. It's true. It is true. Humans are funny. It's also incredibly easy to manipulate mass groups of humans to believe and act in certain ways, especially when you get to control all of the media they consume.
And they want to blame other people because they are such fucking losers. Like, they are such losers. Like, when you actually see them in the flesh, like, they are, like, I have a strong feeling yet again that maybe the reason why your lives are shit has nothing to do with immigrants. I think it might be that you are incoherent,
John Hess, we should deport you to Russia.
Incompetent victims who have no skills, who have no ambition, who have no qualifications, no training.
Literally the dumbest people in the country. Every last one of these people. No skills, no thoughts, no beliefs, no knowledge. They're all genuinely worthless human beings. And every day they become less human the more this goes on. It's the zombie
who have
virus.
No qualifications, no training. You can bet.
It's their fault they bought into it. I know plenty of stupid people who were warned and went to it anyhow. A lot of them, I agree with you. Too much the magic bus. But in a lot of cases, you also do have to remember that you can't escape it. From the moment that you wake up to the moment you go to bed, all of us are inundated with, in an attempt to manufacture mass psychosis. Just Nazi rhetoric, lies, misinformation, hatred, rage bait, everything, all of it, everywhere. It's all inundated with binaurals and hypnosis and imagery that's supposed to manipulate you. It's all active wording and the phrasing that they say things in so that you don't question a thought. They make it so you can't do critical thinking anymore for a lot of these people. And when we're talking about generational differences, I still feel like for the most part, the only generations that haven't fully fallen down the zombie virus hole is older millennials and boomers specifically. The people who either grew up right when this tech started to come out and was integrated into life, and the people who are too old that they just didn't engage with it to begin with. Because Gen X has gone really far down the hole, and the Zoomers don't know what reality is anymore. And it's not their fault either. A lot of them try. I can't escape it, but I might as well enjoy the live stage satire before enslavement. Nothing I can do about it anyhow. There's a lot of shit you can do about it. That's the whole point, Don't just accept the enslavement. Honestly, I would rather die on my feet than die on my knees, than live on my knees. Fuck enslavement. I'm gonna keep going until I'm dead or no one's enslaved. Those are the only two options. Nothing else is remotely acceptable.
Really fucking speak. and I wonder if everything you've got on, everything that you're waving, those flags, was it all made in Australia? Have you all gone and handmade those? Or are you profiting off the labour of different countries so that you can sit there and pretend that we don't need any people and other people?
The big contrast to America, Gen Z is way more progressive than older generations. That's not true. The beliefs that Gen Z has, sure, but voting-wise, not necessarily the case this last time around, and also active-wise in politics, not the case. There is a lot of Gen Z who's active politically in America on the pro-Palestine end of things, and that does exist here as well, but it does not... It doesn't go into every other, aspect of beliefs and ideals. There's that choice. Either way, LMAO, not a light at the end of the tunnel. Well, you gotta be the light at the end of the tunnel. No one's coming to save, you, your family, your friends, us, too much, the Magic School Bus. We have to do it. No one is saving the world at all. We have to do it. Hell, the last time Nazis reared their head like this, we had to fight a world war. And that was the only way to, stop it. And they still kind of won. They lost the war, but fascism won the war in the end. You gotta be willing to sacrifice to change the world. I'm not willing to be a slave, so I'm willing to die for it. And you don't have to do that. You don't have to be willing to die, but you do have to, you have to come to a place where you have to think about, what are you willing to do? What are you willing to sacrifice? And what do you actually want out of life? Nothing I can do? That's a cowardly and lazy way to look at it. there's a lot you can do. Look at what I'm doing. All I do right now is I just talk about this stuff, and that's enough. You can go talk to your neighbors and create in-person social interaction, because a lot of this like radicalization to the right comes from loneliness. It comes from hyper-individualism, where people only engage with other people online and people just don't have any investment in their local community or in other people. You're entitled to your opinion, and that's fine. Like, I'm not saying that you're not. I'm just trying to offer you like examples of a lot of what you can do. And it's not an opinion, it is literally a fact. If I can list multiple things that are easy for you to do, that are easily done by anybody, that are not dangerous, that don't put a risk on you of like getting lashed out on, and you don't do it, that is choosing to not do anything. It's not being able to do something, it's choosing to not do something. That difference is real. It's not an opinion, like that's factual. Now, like, what we're talking about right now is like really broad. I'm not saying that it's your job to immediately jump onto the front lines and do exactly what I'm doing or what I say. None of that. But not trying at all is laziness and cowardly, like objectively so. There is something you can do, even if it's just making agitprop, even if it's just like, I don't know, like logging information that you see, even if it's just talking to your neighbors about normal things, not about politics, but just normal things, creating a community in person. I don't know. Like, there's a lot that can be done, and a lot of this stuff might sound small, but it makes a huge difference. How many of these people showed up because they were told that this was a Nazi rally and they didn't believe it? And how many of these people would have believed it if there was community in their neighborhood, if they talked to everybody that lived around them and they engaged in a way that like incentivize good faith engagement and not online fuck you, you woke motherfuckers, I'm not listening. Like believing the people that you know in real life is much easier than when you're talking to people online. And that behavior doesn't come from like nowhere. You have to care about the people in your community to be able to do that, to be able to receive that care from them, for them to give a shit what you have to say. It feels kind of like obeying in advance. Seems like a good fit. Yeah, that's essentially what's happening there, Ethan. There's almost no difference. Y'all good today? Yeah, what's up, Wardega? We're talking about the Nazis in Australia. This is how the Weimar Republic rose? You mean how the Weimar Republic fell?
Several arrests have been made after thousands protested through the city today opposing mass migration. At the same time, there was a pro-immigration rally, and amongst a sea of Aussie flags, one particularly offensive placard.
The particularly offensive placard that they mentioned? That's the guy who killed 2 cops. Not the Nazi stuff. It's the guy who killed 2 cops. That's the particularly offensive part about the Nazi rallies.
Solidarity.
According to 7 News.
In protest to pandemonium at Peace Park. A member of the National Socialist Network accused of hijacking the rally.
Accused of hijacking, they literally organized it, and it was also most of the rallies.
Labelled that.
So violent, you know? That's the Nazi, being violent. Many such cases of it, but, you know, don't let them get that fucking rhetoric of, oh, well, you know, it was only violent because of the left. None of that. None of that shit. There was no leftists here.
Labelled the anti-immigration rally, police estimate 15,000 took part.
We're not anti-immigration, we're just...
Hey, Grandma, is that you in the photo? Like, honestly, you should call out your family members. You should embarrass your family members. Hell, if I had family members that went to this, I would be doxing them. I'd be posting how they support Nazism. It's not doxing because they're my family members, you know, in that case.
Smart immigration. It's not about aggression. It's just about standing up and saying, hey, we're here, please listen.
Fueled by passion.
We want to keep it how it is.
And with a clear message.
We want to keep it how it is. I'm afraid of change. That's just what they're yelling.
For the Albanese government.
Cowboys away, go!
Despite most being well behaved, 3 arrests were made. And spotted amongst the sea of...
No, you don't. I don't want them to listen to me. I don't give a fuck about them listening to me. I want to shame them. They don't listen to... Like, you can't rationalize somebody out of a position that they didn't rationalize themselves into. Too much the magic bus. Trying to talk to them rationally will not do anything useful at all. Shame and embarrassment, though, that will make Nazis afraid again. That's the only way out of this.
Australian flags, this provocative placard supporting alleged cop killer Desi Freeman.
Can you explain your sign?
Ready to head off.
It's insane that that's what's being referred to as the particularly offensive part of this fucking Nazi rally, is the guy who killed 2 cops.
We're not Nazis. We don't know the meaning of the word sovereign citizen.
There was anarchy at the march in Melbourne, paired with a reptile appearance, while the One Nation leader was warned not to attend the...
Oh look, it's Elmo Hitler. What's up, Lettuce P3?
Rally in Canberra.
I said I'm a proud Australian and I have every right to wave the Australian flag.
Here in the thick of the crowd, you can feel just how strongly people want their voices to be heard. For some, it's about protecting the Australian culture. For others...
No, it's just about alcoholism. Like, this is just Australia Day.
It's about pushing back against what they see as fear and division.
Aussie, Aussie, Aussie! Yeah, yeah, yeah!
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey? Like, with the turning of a screw? Too much the magic bus? Like, what's your point here? The point that I'm making is if you make these people too embarrassed to show their face at Nazi rallies, and a lot of them aren't already Nazis, then a lot of them will be less likely to become Nazis. It would be cool, a bit funny the next time one of these things are organized to have a massive immigration potluck to feed everyone and take pics and just offer free food to these morons. That's not a bad idea, actually. Man, Florida man down under, yeah. That's literally why I rewinded it. The right to oppress the left freeze. Yeah, that's what they want. That's the only thing conservatives want, is the right to oppress other people.
Yeah, yeah! Aussie, Aussie, Aussie!
There was a second smaller gathering in Rymel Park of pro-immigration protesters who made their way up Rundle Street.
I'd love to have a meaningful and factual conversation with someone of the other side and try and get my point across.
Good fucking luck, lady. You think that you're gonna have a meaningful and factual conversation with right-wingers? Jesus Christ.
As peacefully as possible, and how diversity can only strengthen us and help us grow.
The overwhelming majority of South Australians don't just tolerate diversity and multiculturalism, we celebrate it. It is part of...
I agree, but could you not, you know, be a little bit less of a liberal when we're talking about literal Nazi rallies? Guess not. Now, police deployed pepper spray and made arrests in the Melbourne example here, but a lot of that was because there was fights between 2 of the groups, not just at the Nazis, which I would have preferred them to do that too. No, guys, you don't punch Nazis, you have to have conversations with them. To be fair, I don't think you should punch them at the rally, because then it'll get on camera, and then people will be like, well, look at the violent left. I think you should just, like, you know, be safe in that. Meanwhile, that's what's happening on their side. That's what they do on the right. Just trample that old lady.
2 mass rallies collide in the city centre. Outnumbered and under pressure, police officers caught in the middle. Thousands turning out despite Premier Jacinta Allen.
Not an accident. Everyone that I trust gets modded in chat. Talking about the useless conservative mindsets over time that have their asses uptight to any form of change. Oh, yeah, no, you're right there. But that's also manufactured by the media that they consume. And even if the media is not political, it's still that same messaging. This is what I mean by there is a concerted effort to manufacture this kind of outrage for conservatives. It is like all of social media, all of like health media, all of sports media, all of nerd media directed towards men specifically, generally, yes, but also just all over your page, no matter what. Even on the left, we get hit with some of this that are trying to bring people from the left over to the right. And that fear of change is one, like, that is manufactured by making you think about, I don't know, like instances of crime as, oh my God, it's all the immigrants. Like, look at the UK, and they talk about like grooming gangs in the UK, and they blame immigrants for it. Now, all of that is actually white British people doing it, but they don't just start with that belief. It's not the first level of propaganda to say, hey, all of the immigrants are walking around being grooming gangs. It's, hey, your house prices going up because of immigrants. Hey, your food prices go up because of immigrants. It starts small, and then they get like more and more and more intense. Then they radicalize you further. Mind you, none of that's true to begin with. Like, not a single bit of it's true. Again, like, the housing issue is from land banking. It's not immigrants. In fact, like, I've laid out how you could fix this and energy bills quite easily in Australia and make the government money. Did I miss much? I had to walk the dog? Not really.
Condemning the march, labelling it un-Australian.
So you think
Despite a blockade of police.
These people can't read. They're not going to read college papers. They're too dumb to read.
Police on bikes, horses on foot. And in vehicles, rival protesters came head to head. Earlier, a brawl erupting, targeting a Jewish right-wing YouTuber. The protest, called March for Australia, stormed its way to Parliament House and faced a lineup of the riot squad and police. Amongst the speakers that took to the stage, neo-Nazi leader Thomas Sewell, while others who joined the protest distanced themselves from the extreme views.
So I'm not anti-immigration, it's just we're letting too many in at once and people in Australia are struggling. I mean, there's always...
Again, people that are incredibly dumb. What is it people in Australia struggling have to do with immigrants? Well, nothing. They're told that's why your house market is fucked. Nope, it's actually just rich people who buy property and leave it empty to increase the cost of housing. They say it's the food. No, that's not why. They say it's your electricity prices. Nope, that's not why. All of this is just rich people. The cause of every issue that these people are angry about is billionaires. It's the capital class. It's just the people who want to profit off of your suffering. That's it. I don't mind immigrants, but do they have to come here? Literally, like that's what they're saying.
It's gonna be...
Meanwhile, like, again, this is a settler colonial country, and like, the indigenous population refers to what the Australian equivalent of the 4th of July is as Invasion Day. And you people are talking about how, oh, well, we don't want immigrants to come here. Motherfucker, you are the immigrant that illegally stole the land.
That element is going to take it a little too far, unfortunately. Most of us don't stand with them.
Always want. Then why did you go to this rally? You could have, I don't know, organized one next weekend that didn't have ties to the Nazis. But no, none of you wanted to do that. None of you even thought to do that. Why? Because none of you actually give a shit. It's all about being part of the in-group. It's all about being drunk on the street and having fun with a beer. It's like, it's about being mad and, like, playing the game. No, of course you all knew that it was Nazi organized. A lot of these people knew well ahead of time that it was organized by Nazis. And a lot of them still went with this mentality of, well, you know, like, we'll overtake the Nazis and we'll take it away from them and turn it into our protest. You did not succeed, motherfucker. And I could have told you that. You could have just done this exact thing next weekend, and no one would have been mad, Well, I mean, I still would have been mad, but a lot less people would have been mad because it wouldn't have been organized by literal Nazis.
Or it will be Aboriginal land.
On the other side, a pro-Palestinian rally running for almost 100 straight weeks, also showing support for Australian migrants.
Literally, Comrade Lily, my landlord raised my rent, my wages haven't increased in 20 years, and I'm defaulting on a 4th mortgage. Anyway, we should deport all non-white people because this will obviously solve the problem.
Refugees are welcome!
While also criticising government policies towards asylum seekers.
But what we've seen over the last 3 years is cruelty. Cruelty towards refugees, Palestinians.
Hundreds of police have been...
The cruelty is the point. That's like the entire belief system of the right, is cruelty for exploitation. They want to enslave you and then rob you.
Stationed in different parts of the city throughout the afternoon, trying to stop protesters from different sides from coming face to face. But tensions escalated at different points. Police using force. Even deploying pepper spray against protesters amid the chaos.
Wait.
Even deploying pepper spray against
That sure looks like a protester who would be on the pro-Palestine protest side, you know. Shocking.
Protesters amid the chaos. The large main group with the anti-immigration march making its way towards counter-protesters on Burke Street, also met with a line of police.
Damn, Grandma, what the fuck?
Also met with a line of police.
These old-ass ladies trying to start a fight.
Pro-migration protesters criticising officers.
Pro-migration protesters, more like anti-Nazi protesters. Jesus Christ.
2 rallies with opposing messages and a city left divided. Brianna.
Again, this is a Nazi speaking on the state capital of Victoria, flanked by cops defending him. Yeah, it seems like the police really only got violent with one side. That is weird.
SBS World News.
Oh, you want to know what they did after the rally? They went and attacked an Aboriginal site.
More footage is emerging this morning from the ugly and racially charged scenes that played out at anti-immigration rallies in parts of the nation yesterday. In Melbourne, demonstrators, including suspected neo-Nazis, stormed...
Suspected? Motherfucker, they were asked the question on the news, are you a Nazi? And they would answer, yes. Hold on, really quickly. I feel like if I don't show this, you might not understand just how clear they made it. Actually, you know, I think it's actually in this one.
Camp Sovereignty, a First Nations gathering site in the Botanic Gardens.
Scuffles also broke out in Melbourne CBD and in Adelaide, where one demonstrator held up an image of alleged police killer Desi Freeman. Aboriginal leaders have
That's the one line that comes up in every video. They can't help but, you know, oh, well, you know, like the police killers. That's the only reason that they're even calling it a Nazi rally. Genuinely, I feel like if there wasn't somebody holding up the Desi Freeman placard, they wouldn't have even called this a Nazi rally. Like, these guys were Sieg Heiling 45 minutes ago. On camera, mind you. How are these not just labeled Nazis? Well, for the same reason that you think so. What's a Nazi? Don't ask stupid questions.
Condemned this attack as a brazen display of racist and fascist ideology. And they say that supporters of neo-Nazi leader Thomas Sewell, who had made a speech at the anti-immigration rally earlier in the CBD, this splinter group of men dressed in black, then stormed the Camp Sovereignty site, which is in the Botanic Gardens just south of the CBD. And they then, according to the footage that we've been able to see, they appear to spit and stomp on an Aboriginal flag. They also were trying to pull...
ABC News Australia sounds wild. It's one of the only mainstream media sources that I don't overtly hate in every way, Ethan. I mean, like, they're still very, very lid-pilled, but they do at least say some of the parts that the other agencies won't say here.
Down the letters of camp sovereignty without success. One of those men also appears to attack one of the people at the camp with a flagpole, as well as many other
Sorry, I'm a boomer. The emoji went over my head. Like, I learned 3 weeks ago that /S meant sarcasm, all right, guys?
Flashes, they can be heard chanting white power, and witnesses say that
they were chanting white power, and you're calling them alleged Nazi.
4 people were hurt, 2 required hospitalisation for head injuries. Now, this all came after we saw those really ugly scenes in the CBD.
And where are the cops arresting them? They sent 2 people to the hospital, guys.
As thousands clashed, and we saw groups opposing the anti-immigration rallies also try to fight those clusters of people. Now, police say that there were 6 arrests during that time, and
yeah, police escorted them safely back to the trams. Meanwhile, they brutalized pro-Palestinian protesters, even though we've actually, like, recognized the state of Palestine. And I don't know, like, being a Nazi, or like saying Nazi things is illegal, so, you know, here at least. Being a Nazi apparently is not, but it should be.
And they say that 2 of their officers were actually hit in the head with bottles that were being hurled in the crowd. We've heard that police are going to look at CCTV footage to try to identify any further offenders, but police say that there is absolutely no place for this sort of violent and disruptive behaviour.
Like, literally front row, we're just Nazis. Long Homosapian, the right can, like, flirt with genocide, and people be like, this is kind of controversial, but a mildly progressive liberal has to fend off being considered a vanguard communist at all times. Literally true. And by the way, like, the right then goes and starts, like, nationalizing industry as soon as they're given power to. I don't think they were seriously asking. Like, it's such a dumb fucking situation. These people are all losers and incredibly stupid. Here is a further look at the raid that the Nazis did onto this Aboriginal sanctuary.
Fucking hell.
Like, literally charging into battle raid.
Jesus.
Every time I see a Nazi start something, they get hurt. LOL. Good. As they should. They don't get hurt anywhere near enough, I think.
Fucking hell. Here they are.
Like, they charged this like a fucking battlefield. Yeah. Yeah, what the fuck?
Fucking hell.
Like, tell me if this is not a zombie horde attacking, then what is a zombie horde attacking? Because I don't know then. On the video, I think calling obvious Nazis alleged or supposed Nazis is not actual Nazis is borderline journalistic malpractice. Borderline? No, it is just journalistic malpractice. I think that person should be fired. I think it's actually just malpractice. They could not even knock the sign down. They were weak as piss. Well, also, they were probably piss drunk, so we're being real here.
But we begin tonight in Melbourne, where there's been running battles in the street between anti-immigration protesters and those demonstrating against them. Thousands took part in the rallies, including neo-Nazis who marched in both Sydney and Melbourne.
Again, it was organised by neo-Nazis, not just that they took part in it.
We saw punches thrown, flags burnt and protesters spitting in the faces of their opponents. And at several tense moments, it seemed police were unable to stop the violence.
Yeah, well, I wonder who started the violence. Maybe, you know, this side?
It was the worst case scenario.
How fucked up is it that in one video they're like, no immigrants, and then in the next video it's a group of immigrants to Australia attack an Indigenous site? Well, like, literally, like every accusation is a confession, submissive anarchist. And that applies to Nazis broadly, all around the world. Every accusation is a confession, every single time.
Inside the anti-immigration rally, a strong contingent of neo-Nazis at the front, pounding down Burke Street. On the other side, the pro-Palestinian group, not a single police officer in sight. Palestinians formed a thin line to try and block the approaching.
You know what I find really fucked up is that you'll see more people wearing masks on the pro-Palestine side than people wearing masks on the Nazi side. Whereas the Nazis don't feel like they have to hide, but the people at pro-Palestine protests, they do feel like they need to hide. What does that tell you?
Crowd. From there, it was an open street brawl. The March for Australia rally continued down the main road. Still no police, so the clashes continued. Here, a female protester seemingly knocked unconscious.
Yeah, par for the course with the fucking Union Jack in general. Genuinely, like, do you like, you guys understand that these people don't even believe what they're saying? Because they threw their fucking Union Jack flags in the bin after the rally and then went and got Chinese food.
Alright, so...
No Nazi should ever feel safe. I agree. None, ever, should feel even remotely safe. Make Nazis afraid again.
Conscious.
They think the earth belongs exclusively to white people. Well, they want it to, at the very least. Oh, right, yeah, this is the cops that defended the Nazis, by the way. The security force for the fucking leader of the National Socialist Network to do a speech on Victoria's state capitol.
This is the way it started.
From Ausbill and March for Australia.
Speeches flanked by riot police on the steps of Melbourne's Parliament House.
So we are in the street demanding an end to mass immigration.
But as the march got started, skirmishes on almost every street corner. Not enough police, or simply too many.
Not enough police. More like the police just don't want to do their job when it comes to policing the Nazis.
Almost every street corner. Not enough police, or simply...
That cop was certainly being quite physical with the protester that I'm pretty sure was on the pro-Palestine side.
Skirmishes on almost every street corner. Not enough police, or simply too many protesters. Neo-Nazis, this time no masks, and during the day. Here, the group's leader, Thomas Sewell.
What do you hope changes?
To stop immigration.
Is there a limit, or what are you talking about?
Stopping immigration.
Completely.
My God, they really are incredible. Like, all of them are just window lickers.
We want to stop immigration, yeah. Some people say 5 years, some people say 20 years. Let's stop immigration so we can create a nation. We don't have a nation at the moment. We've got a halfway house for the world.
It was a day Melbourne...
Literally sounds incredibly American. That sounded like it would be something Stephen Miller says specifically. The police protecting the people celebrating the man that are hunting for killing two of them makes no sense. That's neoliberalism for you.
Would rather forget. Violence and hatred, a city divided.
I'm bloody eight.
Literally, like, the violence seems to be entirely from the Nazi end, like...
A city divided.
I'm bloody 80 in a couple of weeks.
When are you gonna die, lady? You're taking too long. Go, like, kick the bucket, please. The Reaper should come for you any day now.
And I've come here today to show my support for Australia. We're trying to do a march once. They're here every single weekend.
The Palestine protesters are there every single weekend. You were at a Nazi rally, lady. I don't give a fuck what you want. Like, please, just die of old age already. The world will be better off. Because you supported the Nazi rally. And then started assaulting people on the street.
And something no...
I'm sure if someone kicked her cane. Well, don't do that, because that's bad optics. Of course, we gotta play on the optical field. This is war, guys. I'm saying, like, I say this in America, but it's the same everywhere in the world. We are in a war, and it's not a physical, like, violent war yet. It is a propaganda war. It is an optics war. Instead of holding giant protests with all of, like the pro-Palestine people in one spot, why not break off into 8 to 12 people groups and then occupy the whole city and cause more disruptions? It makes a much stronger message. And it's also much more difficult for the police to fuck with you. I grew up in Sydney. I'm in America now, and I can say Australia has a huge xenophobia problem. Beautiful country, though. I grew up in America. Now I live in Australia, and it is true. It's getting worse. It's getting so much worse. The old people should be checked by psychologists regularly afterward, like remove their voter registration. Yeah, look, if we didn't have ranked choice voting in Australia, I would not support making it so everyone has to vote. A lot of these people's vote isn't worth shit. It just tends to cancel them out when we do ranked choice.
No one wants to see the burning of the Australian flag.
Death to every colony!
The thin blue line eventually arrived. The two groups separated. Police constantly.
When we do what? When we do ranked choice voting. When we do ranked choice voting. Muted. I wasn't talking. I was watching the video.
Constantly rushing to plug the gaps. Media crews, yes, but also plenty of people filming the protests themselves or broadcasting live. Further,
guys, don't bring your phone to a protest, especially on the left. Like, if you're going to a do not bring your phone. Don't bring your credit card, don't bring your car keys, like, don't bring any of that shit. It is all traced to you, especially in the United States, but here too. There was drones all over the place with fucking, what are they called? The sweepers that, like, are just gathering all of the data. Bring a burner every time. If you drive your own car, park it a little ways away and then walk there. How do I get home without my keys? Buy a Faraday bag and then put your keys in the Faraday bag. Ideally, buy 2 Faraday bags and then put the first Faraday bag into the second Faraday bag. There. Spares. Here's an example of a Faraday bag. In fact, I got 2 right here. Put your keys in this one. Make it small. Put this one into the other one. Now, these can leak, which is why you shouldn't bring your phone in the first place, and why you should have 2. But, like, still. Yeah, don't bring your GPS tracker to the protest. Cops with cameras too. Yeah. Why do you think they burned the Waymos in LA? It's for that exact reason. Need more cyberpunk media addressing the insane surveillance state we have already? Oh, don't worry, that's coming up. In fact, I'm just gonna bring that up at the end of this. I'm gonna do a segment at some point this week that's gonna teach you all how to do OSINT stuff. As in, like, if you see a Nazi rally and you can see one of their faces and you don't know who that person is, I'm going to tell you how you can find out who that person is, what their name is, what their phone number might be, what their email address is, where they work. For example, if you're walking around the city and then some dude just starts slurring you and just, like, saying horrific shit to you, and you got that on camera, you can then find out who this person is and then report them to their job, and then they can get fired. That's a thing that you can do, and it would be useful to know how to do so. I don't care if they're if they're a kindergarten teacher, I want them fired 100%, 150,000%. Get some Pepperidge Farm cookies in the bag and an aluminized bag. It's a Faraday cage for your phone when it's sealed. No way. Let me know if you need any extra resources on that. OSINT is one of my most important and specifically lacking things that we need, at least on US soil. I have plenty of sources on that. I just have to like put together how I want to go about it at the moment.
Inflaming their supporters.
He's my brother. This isn't about race. We want change. 5 items at Coles, $100. Are you serious?
This isn't about race, you say at the End Immigration Nazi rally, and then you start whining about food prices when the only reason food prices are this expensive is because corpos keep stealing your fucking shit. Like, again, it's not left versus right, it's up versus down. The only reason that Nazis are popular again is because rich people want you to hate immigrants instead of hate them. That's the only reason.
Serious? $600 to $700 for a 3-bedroom home out in Frankston.
Okay, maybe stop like venture capital and billionaires from land banking, from buying lots of properties and keeping them empty to force the prices up.
And while the March for Australia rallies were planned in every capital, in Sydney, the city was booked out. Not only was there the March for Australia protesters, there was also anti-protest.
It is it's exactly why it's pointless to argue with these people. You can't logic them out of a position they didn't logic themselves into.
Or marches in direct opposition. Add the regular Sunday pro-Palestine group gathering, and then 35,000 runners from all over the world in the Sydney Marathon. What could go wrong? 10 News Plus.
Yeah, it's kind of wild they held the Sydney Marathon on the same day. We need capital gains tax reform to fix the housing problem. Well, I mean, that's one option to do it. What I've put out as an idea of how we could fix some of the racism that's growing in big cities, the housing issue in at least some big cities, as well as electricity costs for Australians, because we know that quite a lot of the immigrants that come into Australia are tradies. They are builders. They know how to do that shit, and we know that Australians who have been going to TAFE and becoming tradies have reduced. There's less Australians doing that now, and so we need tradies. We need people to build shit. That's one. Two, we need new houses. We need, new houses that are outside of the main city where it's incredibly crowded. And then we also need electricity. Well, the only way to really do this is A, build new houses that rich people aren't allowed to buy and hold and keep empty. The government could subsidize some workers to maybe, build a community of houses and shops about an hour out from a big city, maybe, an hour out from Melbourne, an hour out from Adelaide, up to the north. And then once they build these houses, oh, look, they get to live in them. Oh, and, incentivize more people to move over there, shops and community and stuff and all that. But the people who built this, now their next job is to start building energy infrastructure. They're start building batteries, solar panel plants, wind farms, and connecting them to the energy grid. And then they get to live in these houses that they built next to the energy infrastructure they built, and their job is to upkeep it. And a lot of these people already have the training to do this. And a lot of them who may not have the training to do it would be very keen on getting the training to do it if they also got to get a job that they can consistently do while also a house that they can live in. I'm hearing I have worked with more immigrants being a Boilermaker than Aussies. Based. We could easily remedy a lot of these issues. For one of the issues that you see all the time is energy costs. Energy costs are expensive in Australia because we gave into the fossil fuel companies. We sell the energy we produce overseas and then buy it back at a loss. You can buy water as a speculative investment in Australia, rivers, and just do floodplain harvesting and then sell that for money. How about we stop pimping out the country's national resources to everyone who has money and give a shit about the people? That would be great. That would very easily fix a lot of these issues. It would also cut off the entire base of support for the Nazis.
Us had reporters to start and finish the day with each of the main groups. Brianna Parkins with the anti-protesters and Claudia Vrdoljak with the crowd from March for Australia. Police very aware they had to keep the three groups apart.
Well, this is the March for Australia at Sydney's Belmore Park. It's just kicking off now and there are hundreds of people gathering around with Australian
The organizer Hugo Lenin being heir to property development empire is so ironic. It's true. We need immigrants. It's the rich pricks we could do without. Yeah, let's deport Gina Reinhardt. That would be that would actually fix quite a lot more issues. You could not find 30,000 people to remove from this country that would benefit the entire country as much as it would benefit removing Gina Reinhardt specifically alone, let alone the rest of them.
Flags. The one rule for this protest was no foreign flags, and you can clearly see that around me today. So far, it's quite peaceful. They say they are
literally the Union Jack
protesting against mass immigration.
I'm marching today against sustainability to the country.
What does that mean?
Yeah, like I was about to ask, what does that mean? Please define it.
Well, mass immigration is like it's driving prices through the roof, and people don't see that.
Ah. You have no idea what you're talking about. Just as I expected. Sustainability. That sounds like some woke bullshit.
The protest has been labelled by some as racist.
Of course, declarative knowledge only. Nothing else can possibly be the case here.
What would you say about that?
No, it's not racist. We're allowed to question. Freedom of speech. This is what we're here for today.
You don't have that. That you're not in America, lady. You don't have the First Amendment. Neither do Americans for the first, for that matter, rather. But also, like, you're saying that it's not racist. It's literally a Nazi rally.
Freedom of speech.
On the other
You are not American!
side of the city, the anti-protest. Smaller numbers, more vocal.
So as you can see behind us, there is a large police presence that's going to increase as we get to the air.
I think Australia has more freedom than America. Right now, we do, absolutely. Invaluable foul. Although we are quickly moving up to match your energy over there. Questionable at best being here, but like that's going away fast here in the States. Yeah, that's the other bit. Claiming American rights when you're not even in America makes her an illegal immigrant. You know what? I agree. That is an illegal immigrant to the United States. This is an American colony, lady. So, you know, free speech while at a Nazi rally. A non-racist Nazi rally. The jokes just write themselves. True. America is doing a Holocaust right now. America is doing several Holocausts right now. Your guys' Aussie hogs are about as uneducated as American hogs. Honestly, I would probably say they're almost exactly alike.
Area where the two marches are going to run parallel to each other. We've seen riot squad cars, we've seen the tunnel to Central Station blocked off with the police trying to control these two groups from coming together.
All the people except the Aboriginal people that have come to this country have been immigrants or were brought here as convicts. These people have built Australia to the great country that it is.
Immigrants are welcome here!
Crowd numbers are hard to judge. The anti-protest in
Tell Newsom she's homeless, he'll go laser her in the eyes.
the hundreds.
Or sorry, in the ass. In Gaza, yes, but we aren't doing a domestic Holocaust. They're literally doing it to trans people. Comrade Lily. They are doing a domestic Holocaust to trans people as well as colored people.
The March for Australia in the tens of thousands. Flags, banners, and BYO Vegemite.
And I've come down here today because I'm a patron of this country.
This is insane.
I've got one word to say to the Prime Minister. Albo, get We are here supporting Australia today. You're fired!
What a fucking loser. What a massive fucking loser. When they claim to support free speech, immediately ask them why they're in a fascist party if they support free speech. I mean, good question. And immigrants are going to get mass deported. That's how it started, literally, yeah. We're also funding Saudi Arabia, which is genociding Yemen. Also true. And also Saudi Arabia, like, owns a large part of the government. Careful what you wish for with Newsom. Oh, I know. He's not, like, he's a demon. Newsom is literally a demon. It's just he's a useful demon for the time being. On our side. Like, I'm willing to utilize him, not support him, if that makes sense. But, like, yeah, no, submissive anarchists. The Holocaust started with mass deportation and concentration camps. We're doing that right now. We're doing one-to-one the same playbook from Hitler's playbook. We're currently doing a Holocaust domestically as well. You could disagree with that all you want, but you're wrong. I'm assuming that feces on his face and not Vegemite until I have proof. Probably a good, safe bet. Granted, personally, my hottest take as an Australian is, to me, there's really no difference between the two.
Why did you bring your daughter here today?
Because she doesn't have a future if we don't stand today.
Like, this is the level of radicalization that these people have faced. Is that blackface? Yeah.
Why did you bring your daughter here today?
Because she doesn't have a future if we don't stand today.
Now, this is the point where the two marches could intersect, and as you can see behind me, there's quite a large police presence. There was actually...
Holocaust is a specific event. Well, at this point, it's more than that, because, like, even Israelis are saying that Israel is committing a Holocaust in Gaza. I covered that last week, so, you know what, I feel like the word can be broad enough that it works for both.
Two columns of police separating these marches. Now, what we're seeing here is smaller crowd numbers than what we've seen in the last couple of weeks. Organisers have told us that some members of the Palestine Action Group were a bit nervous about starting.
Yeah, not her kid. Like, again, she's the type of person who's out here advocating, albeit likely not on purpose, but for the destruction of this country, to ruin her kid's life.
The march here, they're meeting the other marchers up at Hyde Park to stop any kind of conflict or clash between these two marches today.
They want to blame us for the crises in this country, for the cost of living crisis.
Police would eventually escort them out, but here in Sydney, just like Melbourne, neo-Nazis among those at the rally.
So you're proud to be, you said,
Don't need to leave me, mate.
Yeah, the genocide's been ongoing in the United States domestically for over a couple years now, in my personal opinion. Yes. Literally grooming kids into hate. Every accusation is a confession. They are literal child groomers. Hey, look, hold on 1 second. This part's really important, because remember the alleged Nazi rally bit from that video?
Those at the rally.
So you're proud to be, you said,
Don't need to leave me, mate. Yes.
And you're proud to be racist?
Yes, of course.
Put our race first.
We put our race first. And that's the beliefs that we hold. Of course we're proud of them. All the men in our organisation are proud to be racist.
Are you neo-Nazis?
Yes, we're National Socialists, yes.
Literally admitting to being Nazis on camera, on the news. By the way, this is also 10 News, which was the same news channel that we heard say, I believe it was the same one, it was a few, but I believe it was 10 where we heard alleged Nazi rally.
Despite the clash of multiple protests and sporting events, Sydney was thankfully mostly
charming fellow. He would do better without a spacesuit on Mars, so, you know.
Peaceful.
I'm already suing the commissioner. You idiots!
It really does feel like a tale of two cities today. Behind me, thousands are gathering in the park for a pro-Palestine rally. They're talking about the deaths of children, the deaths of journalists. And behind me is the Sydney Marathon playing, while Sophie Ellis-Bextor is playing a dance song. It really just gives you a sense of the craziness of Sydney City today.
Insane. But yeah, no, the masks are off. They're not hiding it even remotely.
Quite incredible.
They even dress like a cartoonishly evil organization in public. I mean, that's the point. Yeah, they're LARPing as a militia. Mind you, it's these same Nazis that are terrified at being stood up to. These are the people that, like, will show up with their militia and their guns to go, you know, brutalize young children and scare, like, old people and people who don't have, like, a support network. But then if you show up with, like, your militia and stand up against them, they all just run away with their tail between their legs. Crazy thought. They are just assholes until it becomes legal to kill them. They are Nazis. I really hope we get to that point. They're zombies, Knucking Futz cultists. Like, to me, like, Nazis and zombies, same thing. There's only one way to deal with zombies. Now, I'm not going to say anything further than that, but, like, we need to make them afraid. And I'm not talking physical violence necessarily. I'm talking just make them afraid because they are embarrassed and cringe and ashamed every time people start making fun of them. Be very, very mean to them. Be brutal in your rhetoric towards them. And make it so that it is objectively a bad optical decision on their part to admit to being a Nazi. Make them have to hide. And then double tap them. Do it again after that.
Also want to show you some disturbing images from a rally in Adelaide. You can see there a demonstrator holding a sign with a picture.
My God, again with this guy.
Of Desi Freeman, the fugitive accused of shooting dead 2 police officers in the Victorian High Country last week.
Again, they care about this more than they do about literal Nazis.
Along with the words "free man."
But let's focus on Melbourne for now. And joining us is Melbourne's Lord Mayor Nick Rees. Thanks for your time. Rally.
Thank you. But like, people don't know what words mean. You're correct, but at this point, like, does it really even matter? You could use them interchangeably, and almost nobody would know what you mean by it anyway.
Rallies like this were held around the country today. Why was Melbourne the only city where we saw this level of violence?
It wasn't. There was violence in every city. Melbourne just got the worst of it. Let's keep going. Oh, you know what? This one bit made me really happy, though. If there's one thing I like to see at a protest, especially these days, it's as people singing Bella Ciao. Haname. Thank you. By the way, this is why Melbourne was the most violent events, because the pro-Palestine protests, the counter-protesters were more numerous in Melbourne. Well, I mean, this is the pro-Palestine side, but no, you should bring children to the protest. I think that it's important. I think it's important to show children, what it is to fight for your country. My leg is involuntary tapping to this music, mine too. I think it's important to show, direct action and teach it to your kid. I think that it's fantastic to see this at these protests. I wouldn't call Nazis Bella, but oh well. Well, you know what the song is about, right? Let Us Be Three? I don't know, I like it. It's hopeful, it's old school. I'm a fan. Let's keep going. Got a lot of these. Gotta skip the intro bit because they're boring, but we got some arrests yesterday. I learned that this morning. Plus, it's bad for the police and Nazis optically if they attack children. That's also true. Not quite, but yeah. Not really? Oh, the song Bella Ciao is an anti-fascist song from World War II that was primarily attributed to the partisans who worked against Mussolini.
Saw 2 groups in Melbourne go head-to-head
They played it
in a
after they
heated
killed
clash. And this morning, breaking news in Sydney, 2 people charged for attacking an officer at a pub following the march.
We have reporters in both.
Right? If they catch a bottle in the head or police rubber bullet, how do you explain, oh, sorry, kiddo, I forgot that happens? No, you warn them of it and you try and be careful, but also, the fact that kids are around makes it less likely the police will shoot the rubber bullets into the crowd where the children are. So, I see your point, but also, I don't care. The thing is, right, we're all out on the street protesting for our rights. If the kid gets, domed by a police rubber bullet, that's literally why you're out on the street protesting, is so they stop doing that to begin with. They're not going to stop doing that, regardless. And having the kid there is dangerous, sure, and it wouldn't be great if it happened to the kid, but at the same time, that's why we're protesting.
Cities first to Jack Hahn, who is in Sydney for us. Jack, run us through what happened.
Yeah, good morning to you. So, look, police say that yesterday afternoon they were called to this pub here on Broad.
It's the same thing here, Knucking Futz cultists, and protests and riots are not always the same thing. Yes, cops are evil and love to riot in America, but you should still, be mindful of it. If it looks like it's going to get violent, maybe you take your kid and you go, but you should bring your kid to the protest. I fundamentally disagree. In fact, I think your job at the protest is to get the shit kicked out of you on camera. Please leave my Catholic school alone, Visora. No, fuck you. I don't want you to have Catholic school. That this is the entire point. You know, this is why the church doesn't pay taxes. It's because they're the deep state. The church is the deep state. Kids need to learn how to demonstrate for their rights. Kids need to learn how much the cops hate them and want to harm them. And your job is to be very much injured at the protest on camera and use that as an optical win. That's the whole point of the protest. So, like, yeah, do I want kids to get hurt? No, I don't. Of course not. But do I think that it's important to risk that? Sure. Like, it depends on the context. It depends on the kid. It depends on the, like, level of risk. It depends on the age. You should probably ask your kid if they want to. You know, even if they're 9, you should sit them down, talk to them about the risks. Your 9-year-old can make a rational decision. You want violence to occur? No. But the violence is going to occur. That's the whole point of you being at the protest, is you get caught on camera being attacked by the people you're protesting against, generally the state or the Nazis. Not like, what the fuck are you talking about, Andrew Wilson? Like, if you have an argument to make with me, please make the argument, but don't put words into my mouth. Jesus Christ, we're getting, like, raided by Nazis or some shit. You may? Right, Jesus Christ. All of you are incredibly retarded. Andrew Wilson, people like you are the issue that we're talking about. You're a Nazi. You are a Nazi. Great, good. Thought so. Goodbye. Just admitted to being a Nazi. I love when they do that. They make it real easy. Your nose is very Jewish? You too, huh? Okay. Thank you. Whoever banned them. There was a bunch of them that came in all at once there. Jesus Christ. Legit best thing that could happen for the mission is Tiananmen Square type situation. It's true. Funnily enough, Big Papa Fascist is also Andrew Wilson. No way. Wait, hold on. I know who that is. It would be very funny if that was that person. The Nazis are coming out of the woodworks. Again, they feel threatened because I'm right, and all of them are worthless, like, scum that should be removed from the planet in every way. Like, their entire ideology should be erased from the planet, from the minds of humanity. They are a group of terrorists. They are a group of extremists and violent radicals. They're also anti-democracy, and they're also literally just fucking demons. They're not people.
Way, because according to 000 callers, there were some people in the pub yelling and screaming offensive things to people on the street. So the officers came around, they tried having a chat with these people. A brawl allegedly breaks out. That's when an officer is...
Don't ask stupid questions. Watch the video. I'm sure you can figure it out.
Assaulted. They returned fire with pepper spray. 2 suspects allegedly running away on foot, but they did not make it far. And this morning, a 29-year-old and 48-year-old have been formally charged with a fray, along with assaulting and resisting a police officer. Meantime, nearby in Redfern,
they often do Latino Mufune, and they all run away after, like, the first 30 seconds because they don't want the smoke.
Taking place, fists flying on a Sydney train. Check out this vision, exclusive. We can show it to you here on Today in 9 News. You see that there's a heated exchange between a person on the platform and someone on the train. Take note, the person on the platform is wearing an...
I love how the guy who was clearly at the Nazi rally wearing the Australian flag just throws his Australian flag onto the ground.
Australian flag, and then fists start flying. Sydney train staff try closing the doors to bring an end to the chaos, and by the time that police arrived there, the train took off along with the person on the platform. Now, we don't know where exactly that man came from, but according to authorities, the 2 people arrested here...
I am also advocating for putting Nazis in gulags. Personally. Stalin did a lot of bad things, and the dude was a moron, but the one thing I will agree with him on is Nazis belong in gulags. I remember the Cronulla riots that happened when I was a kid. They are a bunch of absolute deviants. Like, they're all the same. It's the same mentality as the Cronulla riots. It's just modern, the Nether News. It's the same people. It's the same type of people, too.
In Broadway did indeed attend the anti-immigration protests.
Jack,
stop calling it that. It was a Nazi rally, and even you people have acknowledged the Nazi rally.
Thank you. Let's bring in Christina Hearn on Spring Street in Melbourne.
I can't say that, Knucking Futz cultist. I like to think more space prison. Like, you know, we put them onto a rocket and then we fly them up to the sky and then we lock them in a prison in space where they can never, like, talk to another human again.
Where violent clashes also broke out, Chris, police were forced to deploy rubber bullets.
Rubber bullets, capsicum sprays, stun grenades, police forced to deploy it all. Their resources here were already stretched because hundreds of officers have been deployed to the high country to look for...
Motherfucker, it is the National Socialist Network. They're literally Nazis. Hell, you don't believe me? I can show it to you. I can show you them saying that they're Nazis. The organizers for this event were the National Socialist Network, the neo-Nazis. That's who organized the entire event. It was attributed to them from the start. It was always a Nazi rally. Like, you people are lying to yourselves because you don't want to deal with that. Because you supported a Nazi rally. Every time. It's the same people. It's the same kind of mentality. It's the same pussies and cowards that engage with it like this. Like, send Nazis back to Mikoshi. Ah, damn, you guys banned him? I was just gonna play the part where they admit that they're a Nazi. I'm gonna keep this one open, actually, for the next time we get one of these fuckers coming in. I can just jump over to the screen and play it. Ah, thank you. They're still here. Well, here's them being literal Nazis. I'm not sure Nazis were there. The midweek rap, they were literally the organizers. Here is the leaders of the National Socialist Network in Australia saying that they're Nazis.
Just like Melbourne, neo-Nazis among those at the rally.
So you're proud to be, you said, are you racist?
Me, mate. Yes.
And you're proud to be racist?
Yes, of course.
Put our race first.
We put our race first. And that's the beliefs that we hold. Of course we're proud of them. All the men in our organisation are proud to be racist.
Are you neo-Nazis?
Yes, we're National Socialists, yes.
Literally. Are you neo-Nazis? Dude says, yes, we're National Socialists. He's not trolling. He's literally the leader of the National Socialist Network. Like, the only one trolling is you people. Hell no. You can watch and come back if you want to engage, like, properly, you know, instead of making shit up because you don't want to believe me. I'm literally just telling you what the facts are. Look at all of the news. Literally, like, we knew that it was the National Socialist Network funding it. We knew that it was paid by the same people who pay the sovereign citizen movement. We know that all of this is tied to Americans who come in and try and send, like, American propaganda into Australia, make that popular. It is an entire movement. Been from the start.
Also broke out, Chris, police.
Yes, please, I fight for them. And honestly, like, I'm gonna talk about that in a bit later. I'm gonna show you guys how you might be able to find out some more information about these people, especially if you have any of their faces.
Were forced to deploy rubber bullets.
You're not re-educating Nazis. It's not possible. The Nether News. Like, historically, it's never worked, and you can't, like, you can re-educate a Nazi. It's just, you're gonna take 5 years per one Nazi. The amount of radicalization that has to occur before a person goes to a Nazi rally, let alone starts calling themselves a Nazi, is an insane amount of steps. You're never going to be able to teach them compassion and empathy on a mass scale. Yeah, take them and put them on the moon. I agree.
Rubber bullets, capsicum sprays, stun grenades, police forced to deploy it all. Their resources here were already stretched because hundreds of officers have been deployed to the high country to look for alleged police shooter Desi Freeman, and they really struggled to keep the anti-immigration protesters and the pro-Palestinian protesters apart, with scuffles breaking out right across the CBD over.
I can say that everyone here was supporting a Nazi rally, considering it was organized by Nazis. I've said very clearly that most of the people who've gone to this were not themselves in support of Nazis, but they all showed up to the Nazi rally anyway. They're all supportive of massive immigration crackdowns. They're all repeating like direct one-to-one right-wing rhetoric from the United States, and they're all supporting the Nazis in this anyway. regardless of whether they themselves are Nazis or not. If you have 6 Nazis at a table and you are, who is not a Nazi, sit down at that table, then you are now also a Nazi. There's now 7 Nazis. Desi Friedman was anti-immigration. Dude, Desi Friedman is a terrorist and a retard. Dude was a sovereign citizen funded by the United States and a terrorist. No one gives a shit about Desi Friedman. Fuck him, fuck all of them. Everyone who went to this thing could, in my person, are less Australian than everyone who didn't, or less Australian than everyone who went to the counter protest. How are these people not attacking the ultra rich? What a bunch of gonks. Well, like, that's the thing. They're funded by the ultra rich. The entire left versus right dichotomy doesn't exist. It's not real. There is no left versus right. It's up versus down. Everything that these people are mad about, that we've been watching this entire stream, we've watched the interviews, them talking about cost of living, house prices, all of this is just rich people fucking you and then making you blame immigrants for it. None of it is immigrants. We need more immigrants in this country, in Australia specifically. Maybe we should have a children's leftist youth groups to prevent Nazism when they grow older. I think that is 100% true. I think we should. Okay, you're not even going to listen to me talk, so why am I even going to listen to you? Just, you know, if you're not going to bother and engage, then you can fuck right off. A lot of these, you know, bots, feds, Nazis, Israelis, Russians coming in and pretending like they, like, you know, that they want to have a rational argument. People need more love in their life. People need to talk to their fucking neighbors, because that's how we're going to get there. All of this exists because people don't invest in their community. People don't engage with each other.
Several hours. Here on Spring Street, known neo-Nazi Thomas Sewell addressed the anti-immigration protesters, while in Adelaide, this man held up a placard.
This was in Melbourne, but, you know,
Placard of the alleged high country gunman with the words "free man." Now, 6 people have been arrested here in Melbourne, 2 police officers injured after having bottles thrown at them, and police say more people could be arrested as they comb through all the vision.
You know, like, saying Nazi shit is illegal in this country.
Carl.
Chris, thank you.
Yeah, the police never beat the Nazis. Literally, what they don't show in this is the leader of the Nazi movement in Melbourne, and there is a cop right on his left and right on his right protecting him.
People could be arrested as they comb through all the vision. Carl.
Chris, thank you. Welcome back to the show. Great to have your company on this Monday morning. Well, seeds of division are being sown across Australia.
Because anti-immigration is our key political issue.
Are you racist?
Yeah, we're racist. Yeah, we're racist.
So you're proud to be, you said, are you racist?
Yes.
You mean Bob Qatar? The most famous Lebanese politician in Australia? He was seen holding a Nazi megaphone. Wait, sorry, that's the wrong one. Here. Let's see. Where is Bob Qatar? Here we go. Here's Bob Qatar speaking into a Nazi megaphone rather. But again, like, these people don't try and hide it.
Yeah, we're racist.
So you're proud to be, you said, are you racist?
Yes.
Jackie Lambie and Chief Political Correspondent for The Age and SMH, Paul Sakal, join us now. Jackie, good morning to you. First up, firstly, the neo-Nazis. Small in number, pathetic really, but big on coverage and hate.
Look, you know...
Come on, you can't say all Australians are Nazis. I'm an immigrant to Australia, and I call out, like, how, like, Australia treated Aboriginal people all the time. Like, saying it like that is literally you working for the right at that point, Obi. By saying all Australians are Nazis, you're not really going to get anyone on board. What you can say is Australia is built on settler colonialism that is equivalent to the same type of settler colonialism that built Israel, and even to the point where the 2 countries with the largest degree of skin cancer in the world are Israel and Australia, 2 places where white people didn't generally live, and then did settler colonialism and took over the land. I've talked about how it was not even until the 70s, the 1970s, where Australia stopped taking the children of Aboriginals away and then giving them to white families to, cure the beast in them. Like, you can have these conversations, but you gotta have it in a way of, you gotta say it in a way that is productive. You're not wrong. Like, the building of this country was built in much the same way as the United States, which was also, a country that inspired the Nazis, as Israel, who is also very much Nazis. I think, that's been made pretty clear, at least on my stream, that it's impossible to be a Zionist without also being a Nazi, definitionally.
I don't know why they want to bring division. It actually doesn't help them at all. They can get off the damn streets. That'd be a good start. But anybody else that's got that flag out there and is making an ass of themselves, let's put it that way.
This is also an insane politician. They just keep showing the same scenes from Melbourne, too. Lazy as fuck.
Attention off the fact that there is a court.
Looks like that person's not white enough to be on the Nazi side. Why are the cops treating them like this? I haven't seen any of them act like that to the Nazis.
I mean, those Nazis take attention off the fact that there is according to polls, widespread feeling, at least majority position, that immigrants...
Well, another loose, personally, I think the most ethical form of veganism is cannibalism, technically. I'm kidding. I don't, advocate for that, but, they don't attack their own? Absolutely. Every case is the same.
Immigration for the last couple of years has been too high. There was a big explosion post-COVID. We actually haven't grown as a country more than we would have had COVID not occurred, but there was a quick catch-up which caused some tension. Nazis have no interest in the end goal of changing government policy. They're actually just attention seekers.
Yeah, and they get it.
Well, they're also, they have no interest in changing government policy democratically. They want fascism.
They'll continue to kill their cause.
And they get it, and it's amplified. It's amplified on all of our news as well. Look, immigration, Jackie, is front and centre. So, like I said, there's a rational debate here to be had, and one this country probably needs to have pretty quickly. There's no question many Australians think it's placing far too much pressure on things like
a lot of Aussies acknowledge and are not proud of the horrible things that they did to First Nations people. Just like how there's quite a lot of Americans that will talk about how horrible we were to Native Americans and also slavery and all of that. You can still be from the country that is responsible for doing bad shit and not be a bad person. There's literally not many of them, but they exist, good Israelis who will continuously get sent to prison for breaking Israel's laws on calling out the horrific shit that's going on in Israel. We literally put billions into needless defense and weapons. Well, that part is not necessarily something you have a choice in. America kind of forces us to. I know for a fact that the Albanese government doesn't like AUKUS and doesn't really like Trump at all, actually, America at all. And we're still being forced to capitulate, which is why I'd be could you imagine how much worse it would have been under Dutton, who actually likes Trump? But this got bad enough yesterday that politicians condemned the rallies.
Violence erupts in the centre of Melbourne as anti-immigration protesters, led by men dressed in black, clash with counter-protesters. Hopelessly outnumbered, a police officer deploys pepper spray before moving away, while a woman's slammed to the ground. A protester launches into a group, knocking over a Channel 9 cameraman.
I can't play Nazi Punks Fuck Off, it's copyright, but, you can play it.
Earlier, thousands gathered at Flinders Street, many waving Australian flags, calling for an end to mass migration.
Which, again, does not exist. There is no such mass migration happening. It just isn't happening. And all of these people who, go around, they talk about, their justification is, first off, they lie. They say 8 out of 10 Australians supports ending mass migration. That's not factually true. it's 53%. But if you phrase the question differently, it's far less than that. If you ask, let's say, would you be in favor of ending migration to Australia if it would negatively impact the Australian economy? Then most people say no. They're taking our jobs. Yeah, as if. The dumbest line ever. It's fucking AI taking their jobs too, especially in Australia. They've already started with that. Why do they interchangeably use migration and immigration? Because America. That's why.
Are you worried about violence here today?
Well, if it happens, it happens. This isn't about racism. This is about change.
I'm here to have a serious discussion with the Albanese government about mass immigration.
But walking
Again, that's not how you have a serious discussion. And two, there's no such thing as mass immigration. Go read a book. Actually, learn to read first. All these people have immigrant roots. It makes no sense. Well, actually, all these people not only have immigrant roots, but they didn't immigrate legally to this country. What is their take on Russia? I don't know, Maniac Shade, but I wish they would just move to fucking Russia already.
among the crowd, well-known neo-Nazis. The rally was initially contained by police.
Like, they are all immigrants. It's just immigrant generally gives off the feeling of like these people went through a legal process to come here. No, their ancestors just got on some boats, came here and stole people's land and killed people. A lot of them are immigrants. Like like myself, in fact. This country was built on immigrants, but again, it was built on the idea, the genocidal idea, that Israel shares in a very suspicious way of there was nobody here when the colonists got here. That's the phrase that's said. You know, like what is it in Israel? It's a land for a people without a land. We say that same type of shit here in what's the Australian version of it? It's hold on. Let me find the exact quote. No, I can't find the quote. It's fine. You guys know what I mean. 6th grade readers arguing that they know better science, better facts than, scientists and all of that, of course. What quote? The quote of like that Australia has a similar version to Aussie Welder of like the colonists who first came to Australia and talked about how there was nobody here, at least in like their rhetoric. They talk. It's the version for Australia that is a land for a people without a land. That one. It's like incredibly racist. Australia was a jail for England. Oh, of course. Like that is not in question here. It is still colonialism that built this country, but like immigrants as that went on also came and contributed to everything that these people like about this country. You're not going to get me being hyper specific with my wording, and if you like need me to be hyper specific with my wording, like please tell me that and why, because we word police each other on the left to the degree of ridiculousness where nobody gets the fucking point of the message anymore, or like the message never gets across because we spend too much time arguing over how it's said. Just get the message. The message is the message. It doesn't matter. Me saying that these people were that this country was built on settler colonialism and then calling the country one that was built by immigrants, I don't need to be corrected for that. And like, I'm not mad at you, Obi, and that's not what I'm saying. It's more just like it confuses me and throws me off track, and it's also not useful. Australia is a multicultural country. I grew up in a very Lebanese, Turkish, and Chinese suburb of Australia, based. As a British that came here, this country rocks for the exact reasons. I lived in Cronulla for 2 years and it sucks so badly. But like, again, it's the same people that ruin everything every time. Like, it's the white culture is just pokies and beer in Australia. Exactly. Like, it's not anything wrong with being a white person. It's just you act like everyone else has this shitty, like, degenerate culture and you have no real culture. Yo, Visora, I was in Melbs yesterday, as per usual. Vipol protected the Nazis and none of us could touch them. They went to Fitzroy Gardens, started a fight with the First Nations protesters. Yep, I covered all of that earlier in the stream. Like, they were charging the Aboriginal center in Fitzroy Gardens, as if they were like Vikings doing a raid. The Nazis planned this event months in advance. We all talked about how this was a Nazi rally for weeks. Like, again, do not acknowledge any of that shit of like, oh, well, these people might not have known. Everyone knew. The media's literally calling it that. It really was not a jail. They used Petty Thieves Act as slave labor and built the colony. Well, I mean, like, prisons today are also used for slave labor, Aussie Welder. And beyond that, like, I live in South Australia, where you weren't even allowed to live in South Australia as one of the convicts. You were only allowed to live in South Australia as a free English colonist, which is why South Australians sound British comparatively.
Before being allowed to march to state parliament, meeting pro-Palestine marchers on the way who were staging a counter-protest.
Does Australia have work orders for prisoners too? I'm not sure. Probably. I wouldn't be surprised. I haven't looked it up, and I'm not going to say anything about it because I don't have free speech here. But I would not be surprised if it already existed, and I would be even less surprised if it didn't exist and it was being built up. I'm still trying to grasp that Australia is real. You know that the seasons are opposite too, right? I had the unfortunate experience of learning who Sam Hyde is. Oof, yeah. Wait, you live in SA? I do indeed. Speaking of, by the way, to my fellow Aussies, especially South Australians, I'm going to be at the Adelaide show on the weekend. They're coming up, and so if anyone want to like come and meet me or come hang out, you can do that this weekend. I think it'll be Saturday more likely than not, but still. Cool, I moved here 5 years ago. Another news, I moved here 6 years ago. Hell yeah.
Police trying to quell the violence as the groups...
Wait, I forgot. I got past that one already. This part I did actually enjoy. And again, just to really hammer it home that like, not all of these people were Nazis. They all went to the Nazi rally and might as well have been. But I did enjoy seeing the people noticeably like losing their interest in this as they listen to the Nazis speak.
You've lost us! You've lost us!
All Australians! Not just white Australians!
We love all of you. We're not racist at all. We love every one of you.
Okay, this is it. We're here to say the truth.
Again, like these are people at a Nazi rally who themselves don't consider themselves a Nazi. This is proto-MAGA. This is 2014 level, just before MAGA level MAGA mentality. This is them being brought over to the right. Cattle waking up? I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't say it as much. I think next time, like the next time they do one of these and these people show up, they're much less likely to react negatively. Wait a minute, we are the bad guys? That is true. As the West.
About why we're protesting, and these guys are not representing what we think.
The fucking Nazi group ruined it.
Yeah,
it was good before that. That's why everyone's leaving now. No one stands for that.
We stand for everyone, not just a few people.
Like, the fucking Nazi group ruined it, but, like, cool, I like that. You went to a Nazi rally that everyone told you was organized by Nazis, though, so, like, what did you expect to happen? I'm not racist, I just want an ethno-state. Sure, buddy, turn around. True. Yeah, like, Australia used to be slaves as well as Western Australia. It was built by First Nation slaves. It was never a penal colony here. That's also true. Most of the fascists in the US are too dumb to know that they support fascism. That's true, because all of the fascist rhetoric is framed as a thing for freedom. Hell, actually, here's an example of exactly that. From yesterday, from Bob Qatar.
Splint.
Please, not. Bob Qatar. Where's the bit? From yesterday. Give me the one most recent video. Thank you. Hold up. I gotta find Bob Catter. Here we go.
3 protests.
Now let me just find the bit where we got Bob Qatar. I can make my point. Because they frame all of their beliefs through this idea of like libertarianism. Clearly it wasn't there either. Jesus. Why can I never find a fucking when I look? You have Nazis there. We just have Brian Tamaki, the Maori equivalent to a Nazi. I mean, like, we have proper Nazis here, yeah. This is the anti-woke mind, but no, this is the zombie virus. Like, that's all it is. It's the zombie virus. That's what Nazism is. Every accusation is a confession, and think about some of the things that Nazis accuse other people of. They accuse, you know, social contagion theory, child grooming, woke and cancel culture. Literally, they do all of these things. All of them. Okay, cool. There it is. Wait. There it was.
MPs from Qatar's Australian Party are leading a march along Townsville's foreshore. Bob Qatar has spoken at the rally.
Oppression becomes law, then resistance becomes duty.
Okay, it's really quiet, but what he just said is when oppression becomes law, resistance becomes duty. This is the same kind of shit that you had MAGA saying when it was under a Democrat. They talk about how, you know, like the deep state and fascism and like the evils of the Democrat. It's the same rhetoric, but on the Australian side. They're being, like, oppressed and we're being controlled and the Labour government, they're fascist. Like, that's what these people are saying. They believe that because they're told that. And then what would happen if they were to take power? Well, what happened in America? Immediately you find out that not a single one of these people give a fuck about freedom. North Queensland is the Deep South equivalent. Yeah, like this is... Thank you for that equivalency. North Queensland is a horrible place to be. The Qatar's response to a journalist mentioning his Lebanese heritage. Yeah, he's the most famous Lebanese politician in the country, Bob Qatar. But again, like, that's why these people will say what they do. This is why they can say this wasn't racist and, like, you know, the Nazis ruined everything, because they think that they are here for freedom, where they're not. I gave it a try, I couldn't find the equivalent. Terra nullius, thank you. That's the actual, like, phrase that Australians use. Was Pauline Hanson there as well? Yep, hell, you bet your ass Elmo Hitler was there. She was at the Canberra one. She was told not to go, too.
These guys are not representing what we think.
The fucking Nazi group ruined it. Yeah, well, it was good before that. That's why.
Literally, man, Trump betrayed us energy. 100%. Also, yeah, welcome, Buddha Sahat.
Everyone's leaving now. No one stands for that.
We stand for everyone, not just a few people, you know? That's racist.
The extremists ruined it for everyone. That's what happens.
At the Nazi rally.
Unapologetically proud to be a white Australian.
Alright, so the important part here is listen to the cheers start to die down as the Nazi becomes more overt. And again, think about how the next time these same people go to a rally like this, they're going to be less inclined to view it negatively. That's what these do.
This is it. Wow. That's killed it. Absolutely killed it. This has absolutely killed it. Look at that.
The media's gonna paint that.
Absolutely killed it.
I would love everyone.
Be good to the flag, be good to the people.
Extremists ruined it, said by an extremist. True.
Welcome here.
Randy. That's
all
it.
Australians.
All Australians.
All Australians.
That's a he, she. It's right. He, she means it.
What the fuck, man?
He's put a foot down. He's put down.
We're really just America. I don't know what the fuck that was about. I mean, like, clearly it was transphobia, because I don't know what was on the sign. I don't know. I have too many brain cells to understand what these people think about. So, same thing happened at Parliament in Melbourne. Tom Dude from the Nazis got booed and everyone got up and left. Well, the Melbourne one got to go on much longer. The Adelaide one ended early because people like actually did not like, I don't know, like they didn't like the Nazi talking, and the Nazi then after getting booed started kicking people, and then so the organizers dipped. But the Melbourne one I think lasted one of the longest. And again, like, she's correct. These are fucking losers. These are losers with no skills, no abilities, no desires, no thoughts, no beliefs, just fear, anger, racism, fed to them through a screen. They're all drug addicts, essentially, to, you know, the dopamine hit from scrolling on your rage feeds, the rage machine. And by the way, not a single one of these rallies from the right was anywhere close to what the pro-Palestine rallies looked like just a week ago in Australia. You know? No matter what, they're never going to get this much support for Nazis. It will never happen. People really don't comprehend the minefield that being a trans person is. Well, like, again, most people don't even know what trans people are anymore. They just know what they think they are, because, like, most people's belief system is not based in any reality, fact, data, personal experience. It's based in what they're told. That's just the case every time. They don't have their own thoughts. Their thoughts are what has been assigned to them. In fact, they're trans thinking, you know, they're not using their brain assigned at birth to them. They're using the brain that was given to them as a tool by the right to break them. Most would not even have jobs. They sit around all day encouraging each other like a cunt to piss. What? Yeah. Why was a trans person trying to join Nazis in a Nazi rally? I think that person was at the wrong rally, Captain Buggy. One of the cities, I don't know if it was Melbourne or Sydney, had a trans justice event on at the same time as well. So, like, person could have ended up at the wrong rally. But, oh, here's a new one. This is from an hour ago. I do want to hear this. This is multicultural Australians describe fear and disappointment after the, countrywide Nazi rallies.
Response from multicultural leaders to the scenes that we've had over the week.
Also, yeah, like, pygmies exist. There was, like, a trans person who was part of Jan 6th, and then after they put her in a male prison, she wrote a letter to Marjorie Taylor Greene, Matt Gaetz, and Lauren Boebert asking to be removed from the male prison and be put into a women's prison. They did not help her, so, you know.
Weekend.
These leaders have spoken out about just how difficult this week has been. They said multicultural communities are among the strongest and the most resilient, but nonetheless, this has still been an extremely challenging time. We've heard at those rallies that were attended by known neo-Nazis extremely hateful and racist language, things like send them back, stop the invasion, references to Nazism, and things like hail white Australia. So really damaging and hurtful comments, as well as things like that there are
sounds like a Nazi rally.
Too many Indians or too many Muslims in this country. And of course, these aren't just words for many Australians. These are direct insults. This is discrimination.
Just go live in fucking Russia. Jesus.
We've heard from multicultural leaders who say that there has been fear, there has been hurt, there has been disappointment. Others who say that they were afraid to go out over the weekend for fear of being mugged or assaulted. And
I was afraid last night. There was Nazi rallies everywhere. I didn't know what they were going to do after. I didn't know if they were going to go around and, do violence and shit, break into people's houses. You don't know with these people because they're insane and they're terrorists. So, like, are they going to do terrorist actions after their fucking rally? Who the fuck knows? Well, some of them did.
Others who say that this was extremely challenging for them to feel so othered from the rest of Australia, that they view themselves as Australians, and then to see their contribution to this country dismissed and disregarded.
2 months ago, in June of this year, I got my Australian citizenship. And at my citizenship ceremony, what we were told was, doesn't matter what country you came from, you have the culture that you're bringing with you, and we thank you for your contribution to Australian culture. You are like bringing that bit of your culture here, and you're going to share it with the rest of Australia, but you are now Australian. That's what everyone was told at my citizenship ceremony. And I feel like that's much more in line with the Australian values that we teach. You know, like, you got to take a test to become a citizen. And all of these people would fail the test. Like, that's the funny part, is every one of these people would fail the citizenship test. What are they going to do if they're successful getting rid of all the non-white people, enjoy living in a collapsing economy? No, don't ask stupid questions, guys. Come on. We know for a fact that racists will regularly choose to harm themselves and their standard of living as long as they get to harm someone from a group they dislike, even just a minuscule slight amount more.
A really disappointing moment. We've heard from the head of the Federation of Ethnic Communities Councils of Australia. He says now after this it's time for calm, it's time to find respect, to come together, and that multicultural communities should find strength in the fact that many Australians didn't attend these rallies, and he was keen to highlight that he felt these were fringe views, but none...
I am glad that like they weren't as big as they could have been, but they were far bigger than they should have been.
Nonetheless, very damaging and a difficult time for many multicultural communities.
And Isabella, experts have raised concerns about the tactics to engage ordinary Australians in these type of protests.
That's right, Gemma. And if you hear why many of the people said that they did attend these protests, they said it was concerns about immigration, concerns about the housing shortage, linking...
Again, it's just the right-wing rhetoric that people don't know is just pro-billionaire. There is no immigration issue causing cost of living issues. No immigration issue causing the housing prices. That is just rich people fucking you. I have no doubt I could not pass the citizen test here. It's really not that hard, Aussie Welder. It's 20 questions. You have to get 5 of them 100% correct, and those will be related to Australian values, and then you need to get 70% of the rest.
Immigration to economic issues. Now, there isn't strong evidence to link all of these issues, but that's how many of these Australians felt. Now, experts are saying that far-right groups and far-right leaders use these euphemisms to try and attract ordinary Australians to...
That's true, but, like, let's be honest here. There was barely any euphemisms being used yesterday. That's the worst part.
To come to these demonstrations, to come to these rallies, but when you look at the language, when you look at the symbolism, when you look at the way these individuals, these far-right individuals are talking, it isn't really about these core issues. We know that the organisers of some of these events held white nationalist views. We know that neo-Nazis...
Living way out in rural areas, right-wingers have no real basis whining about the housing crisis. They do in Australia, but not, you know, the way that they do. Because the housing crisis is pretty widespread here, but it's just the fact that, like, corpos buy the property and keep it empty, even in rural areas. That's the only issue. That's it. That's the only issue. They're literally organized by Nazis. Like, admittedly, the Prepared Californian. Like, you're American, so I'm not going to get mad at you, but let me prove it to you. Let me prove it to you. I didn't see your message get deleted. Sorry, let us be. I did not see it. But, y'all want to know? You want to see if these were objectively, like, overt Nazis? Well, let's have a look, you know? I closed it again, even after I said I wouldn't, but here it is.
Is that a good thing?
We're proud of who we are. We're proud of who we are as white men. We built this nation. All the men in our organisation are proud to be racist.
Are you neo-Nazis?
Yes.
Down. Those were the organizers. It was a Nazi rally. Shut the fuck up. And also, yes, if you do want to protect your country from immigrants, you are a Nazi. Like, sorry, that's the case. What are you protecting your country from in that case as well? Like, we need to stop even allowing them to have that to that point. Like, you don't even say like anything real. You're not trying to defend your country. You are anti your country. You are destroying your country. Illegal immigration, none of this is about illegal immigration. This is about legal immigration. And also, like, there is nothing that you could say to justify this position and not be a Nazi or a piece of shit. Literally none. Preserving culture? Sorry, don't care. Literally, like, that's not even real. That's not how culture works. A unchanging culture is a dying culture. Let's B3, say it in Twitch chat. Hold on. And they are proud of their stance. Of course they're proud of their stance. Like, in every case. Because they're just Nazis, and they don't believe anything. They lie and they pretend that they don't believe these things, but they love that shit. Denying people their freedom of movement only serves the world's ruling class. True. What's the funding behind Charlie Kirk? They are pumping heaps of funds into these Nazi groups down here. CPAC, TPUSA, the United States federal government, the Atlas Network, as well as like consultancy firms. Like, there's a lot of it. Yeah, it's the same groups that fund the sovereign citizens in Australia as well, like the Aussie Welder.
Nazis attended this, that there were really hateful and discriminatory chants that happened, particularly at those larger rallies in Sydney and Melbourne. And experts are saying we need to look at this and we need to call out what's been happening and to have an open conversation with Australians about the difference between far-right ideology and genuine concerns about housing shortages and immigration, and to work to try and decouple them.
Even that framing is wrong. I hate that framing. There is no issues with immigration. If you want to talk about housing policy, it's because of rich fuckers.
Those issues, and to have an honest conversation that is grounded in reality, so that far-right groups cannot use these issues to mobilise their own causes. And they say this isn't new. We've seen in recent years far-right groups use COVID-19, the pandemic, to try and mobilise people to their cause. And
by the way, the propaganda from COVID is why they were able to have this happen in the first place. Prior to COVID, you would not have gotten Australians showing up to this rally because they didn't care enough. But during COVID, enough people were alone at home for long enough that they got to engage in some of that brainwashing. There's no invasion. Invasions look like invasions, not pregnant poor people using a visa. Well, there is an invasion. It's just a Nazi invasion, Oxpecker. That's the only invasion, is the American Nazis invading this country. They would consume excrement if a liberal had to smell it. True. That dude with the death sign is going to get rinsed by the feds. That's also true. That's the only thing that the news keeps getting mad about, is they keep bringing up the Desi Friedman sign. They use the terms, literally, the particularly offensive signs at the Nazi rally for Desi Friedman, who is just another right-wing idiot. Christ. Let us B3. I still don't even see it. But yeah, poop and shit getting censored, that's really weird. I don't know why it's doing that. I need to go look through all of the fucking filters again. I just took a practice Australian citizenship test and got 85 without any studying. Yeah, I got 100% on my first shot without studying either. To be fair, like, I talk about politics, so like, that was at the Adelaide rally. Yeah, it was. There was another one in Sydney, and I think another one in Melbourne as well, though. Cheeseburger Merv. So, like, they're kind of everywhere. Much as, pretty commonly the case with Nazis, is they're fucking cockroaches. They're everywhere. You can't escape them. Can't do anything. YouTube's AI will detect a lot of things and shadow delete comments and posts and all of that. It's almost unusable for discussing politics. Yeah, well, you know, Twitch is much the same and getting worse, and soon all, like, of the streaming platforms and social media sites will just be suppressing the left entirely. We're doing algorithmic exile now. People exercising their freedom of movement is not invasion, it's true. Because you're fucking racist. There's no preserving culture. Do not ban the prepared Californian. There's no culture to preserve. That's not how culture works. If your culture doesn't change, it dies. Like, you don't have an idea of what you're talking about. First of all, like, not wanting brown people in your country makes you a racist and a piece of shit. Like, you're talking about wanting an ethno-state and claiming that you're not a racist or a Nazi. You're genuinely exactly both. Secondly, like, it's not, like, Japan is absolutely being called racist. I call them racist in a dead country all the fucking time. What planet do you live on? Like, if you're gonna make a claim, at least make a claim that you actually understand. Like, if you don't watch me, don't make a claim based on, like, what I say. I've called out Japan's racism regularly. Now, beyond that, the other issue is countries aren't real. Your culture is not real. It's not a physical thing. It is made up. Philippines is not being called racist? For what? Like, what are they doing? What's the Philippines doing that you consider racist? I'm actually not, no, I don't know about it. Mexico's not being called racist? Why would Mexico be called racist? Because they don't want the American Nazis to move in? Fuck yeah. Like you people genuinely have no fucking idea what you're talking about. Philippines has strict immigration laws? Okay, they're racist then. See how easy that was? See how easy that was? Also, I've also called the people in Mexico talking about the gringo protests also racist. I said I agreed with them, but also that they were racist. So, you know, like, what are you trying to do here? Why are you trying to start an argument based on things that you don't know about me, making claims that, like, don't fit with what I've said, what I believe, and also, you are a Nazi and a racist, motherfucker. Like, I want you to be cleansed from this earth. Oh, here we go again. More of them. There's another Jewish Nazi. Fucking Zionists. Goodbye, fucking Jewish Nazis. Hey, JC Chadel. Being a Zionist is necessarily anti-Semitic. You have to be a Nazi to support, like, Zionism. Not trying to start an argument, Nazis were a socialist party. Just because they used the name National Socialist doesn't mean they were socialist, you dipshit. Like, you think North Korea is democratic? They're the Democratic Republic of North Korea. The first thing Hitler did when taking power was the exact opposite of socialism. When whataboutisms don't work, when the person that they try and argue against is smarter than them, I hate Zionists, you're dumb. Cool, that's great. You're still a Nazi, though. When Zionists get so mad they become anti-Semitic against themselves, it's wild. Also true. Genuinely. You know what, though? This is a good sign. I haven't had too many, like, Nazi bots come into my YouTube chat in a while. I was starting to feel a little left out. You know, maybe I was being too mean to them. Maybe they were just a little bit too afraid to talk to me. Failure of education? Failure of, a lot of things. Funny thing is, Democrats wanted slaves to pick cotton. Hey, you know, that was before the Southern strategy, right? Because, yes, the Democrats did used to be the right-wing party, and the Republicans were the left-wing party. That switched after the Southern strategy, which was during Nixon's time. And then it flipped and became the entire opposite of exactly what it was then. Again, a failure of education and a retard who thinks that they know anything but is too dumb to read, trying to argue with someone far more intelligent and superior to them in every way. Mind you, everyone in this chat is superior to the right-wingers, so, you know. And I believe that, factually. You are better people. In fact, most of the right aren't even people. They're, at best, zombies. At worst, they're demons. Like, outright. They're not people. The education does not equal intelligence in any way. Did I say that it did? I've made that point on several, like different occasions. I'm both more educated and more intelligent than you. Like, significantly so. Man, Lee Atwater was an unmatched political mind, fucking monster, but just like goddamn true. Outright demons, alt-right demons. education is not intelligence, but it correlates. You know what else correlates is being a right-winger and stupidity. It literally shows that you have a smaller brain. If you are a right-winger, you fundamentally, I will make the bet, could be found in an MRI. There has been many studies done on this, that authoritarians have smaller brains, have less mass in their dorsomedial prefrontal cortex, have a thinner left interior insula, have a less functional amygdala. You are less able to produce empathy. You are less able to do critical thinking. You are less able to control your impulses. You are not capable of producing kindness. We know all of these things. It's also the same type of issue that you get from brain trauma. Look at fucking what was his name? Oh god, I ignore the man so much that I forget. Fetterman, the man who got into a car accident, got brain damage, and then became a fascist. That's a stupid argument. Only one side wants to bring slavery back. Literally. You want to know what the right wing believes? Because it's really very clear what they believe, and that they are Nazis. Here. Let's make this about America for a second. The whites only community that they want to and trying to build in the US right now. I disagree because it's Democrats complaining about who's going to pick their vegetables. What are you talking about? Where is that conversation happening? And also, why do I give a fuck what Democrats want? I don't like the Democrats either. I just hate the Republicans. I very much dislike Democrats. I hate a lot of the elected Democrats, and I very much dislike liberals for the most part, but I am happy to work with every last one of them against you motherfuckers.
This community in the US state of Arkansas is being developed exclusively for white residents.
I think we should subjugate the Nazis, Schuffelpuffer.
A concept which comes with legal challenges. Located in a remote area of the Ozark Mountains, return to the land is a utopia for some, but a dystopia for others.
I was attracted to it because I felt that
exactly
we were too isolated. I became more concerned about the future of my identity group, white Americans. I don't have any other group that I belong to, really.
Well, first off, you shouldn't be able to buy land. Secondly, it is illegal to do segregation. There are laws against it. We fought a war over it, a civil one, in fact, the Prepared Californian. You people hate America so fucking much and then pretend to be these fucking patriots fighting for your culture and your country. Meanwhile, you are literally just ISIS, but Christian. No, they haven't. Cite me one example of that, because it is literally illegal to do segregation. Where is there black or Muslim only communities where white people are not legally allowed to come and buy property? But again, I don't think any of you should be able to buy property. I think private property ought to be illegal. Not personal property, private property. There's a difference. Land is private property.
If you look at the trajectory of the demographic composition of the US, whites are becoming a minority.
Michigan, you mean the state with the white governor?
And that's not positioned to turn around. And already, white people in America are subject to some legal discrimination. Affirmative action is legal discrimination against white people. I see that other groups do work together for their common interest.
I think people like this man should be launched out of a cannon into the sun.
Eric Orwell is looking for like-minded people mainly on platforms like X or on Rumble or on YouTube to move to the 160-acre compound.
Yeah, well, this is affirmative action wokeism too. Yeah, but no, this is literally just segregation.
Tells us that so far 40 people have moved here and hundreds have joined, paying a one-time $25 membership fee and earning acceptance after sharing information online.
Oh, you mean people moved into that state and then, ran in elections and then were voted in by the majority population? And you think that that's the same as a town that is making it so that no white people, no one but white people is allowed to move there? Just show me how stupid you really are. I thought you'd at least try. Oh, sorry, the white Muslims took over the majority of the school board by winning in elections, by getting elected by the general public fascism. But me saying that only white people are allowed to, literally implementing Sharia law coming from fucking Christian ISIS. You don't know what Sharia law is, motherfucker. Where is there Sharia law in America that is done by anyone other than the Christians? It's you people who groom children. It's you people who want to make it so your religion is forced to be taught in schools. It's you people who want to take away women's right to vote because it's a Christian country. It's like every accusation is a confession. Every single one of them. All of you are demons. And the only reason I haven't even banned the Prepared Californian is because I'm enjoying arguing with this demon. But, here's some more examples of the fact that MAGA hates America more than any group in the world. Literally, there is not a single group on this planet who hates America more than MAGA does. Not a single one of them. Not one. For example, hold on, not that one. This one. Literal Christian Sharia law.
In the home, you have women leading in the church, you have women leading in the marketplace when it comes to production, and you have women leading in government.
I agree, no religion should be taught in school, period. But sorry, your government doesn't think that. The people you voted in, sorry, no, they don't believe that. They want you to be forced to learn Christian shit in school. In fact, hell, the DOD's director's fucking pastor for his church also says this shit.
Government
We're teaching fucking religion in schools in multiple ways. PragerU is another one.
Every single level. And God is not going to bless that. I think we have seen the curse unfold of feminism, and it's not enough to just say, let's just keep men out of women's sports.
This is just Sharia. This is literally Christian ISIS. That's all these people believe.
If we're trying to establish a Christian country, should we have our borders open or allow Muslims to come in and live in a country that's distinctly Christian?
I would say no in any kind of significant number.
They don't believe in freedom. They don't like the country that they live in. It's the same case with these people in Australia or the UK or in France or in America. They hate you, and they literally want nothing but suffering. Cruelty is the only point. That's all they give a shit about. They want to make people suffer because they enjoy it, because that's what demons do. All right, I've had enough of that. Literally, this person worked for a school district, thinks that they need no funding. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Mamdani, peace be upon him, let Allah shine his light on the lost Christian heathens, mashallah. True. You guys understand, like, the level of... Christians don't even, like, understand their own religion. They don't believe their own religion. Christians have forgotten their own religion. Like, Donald Trump was talking about how he wanted to go to heaven just a couple of days ago, remember? If any of these motherfuckers read the Bible, they would know that that's not the case. Literally, like, Jesus said the same shit Marx did. The man was a proto-communist, if anything. He literally said, rich people go to hell. All rich people go to hell, is what Jesus said. And the Christians think that they still believe in Christianity. If you were actually Christian, you wouldn't eat seafood. You would never be rich. Like, it's obscene.
All rich people go to hell. Welcome to Woke Bible.
Christo-fascists aren't Christian. They're about as Christian as ISIS is Muslim or that Israel is Jewish.
School, where I tell the real story of Comrade Christ straight from the Bible. All rich people go to hell. This is a claim that the Bible makes so often and so explicitly that I'm not going to have time to get into all of it. But I thought I'd start with one famous line from Jesus that makes right-wing Christians contort themselves into knots with Olympian mental gymnastics. Jesus said, quote, It is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of God.
And then you got these fuckers talking about how they want to go to heaven. You think that the brown socialist is gonna invite you in?
Remember when I first came across this verse as like an 8-year-old? I asked my Sunday school teacher about it. And he had this whole story about how there were like certain gates in Jerusalem that were super narrow.
Oh, I've moved on. I'm not even talking to you anymore, the prepared Californian. This is now just me complaining about Christian ISIS being the like largest terrorist threat to the world.
So
you're a strict constitutionalist. Did you vote for Trump the second time?
It was difficult to fit camels through them, but like not super impossible, and they were called the eye of the needle or something like that. So as an 8-year-old, I kind of just took this at face value, but now I'm an adult and I can do my own research and look into whether there's
but maybe the needles were bigger back then? Oh no, it's very over.
Any validity to this claim. And basically this comes from like a medieval manuscript from the 11th century, which is 1,000 years after Jesus lived, and there's no other reference to it before that. I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say that a writer in the 11th century, when Christianity has already dominated most of Europe, is going to kind of have an ulterior motive when they're talking about justification.
Hey, which party right now is talking about taking away people's right to own a gun? But you didn't answer my question, so I'm going to go ahead and say you did vote for Trump the second time. How do you feel about the Telford again? Because everything that you people thought he was going to do, he did none of it, and he did everything we said he was going to do. How does that feel? I'm curious.
Justifications for being rich. So since I don't think that's very reliable, it's better just to go to the contemporaneous sources that were written in the same region and in the same time period as Jesus. When you look in those sources, you find no evidence of any gate called the eye of the needle. There is evidence, however, that the expression that Jesus used was a super common idiom that was used in the Jewish-speaking world around.
Is this guy on YouTube? No idea. I only saw this guy yesterday for the first time. But speaking of Trump, a lot of people thought he was dead or something. I need you to know where he actually is. He's in the Pentagon Situation Room. That's where he is. We're gonna invade Venezuela soon, and Chicago on Tuesday. Oh, thank you for the sub, Long Live Mazapian. That's where he is. He didn't die.
On that time. What did that idiom tend to mean in other contexts? Well, it means exactly what it sounds like. It's something that's so impossible and so ridiculous that you can't even picture how it might even work. So, for example, you can see a similar idiom being used in the...
What did Venezuela do wrong? They have oil, and they put a $50 million bounty on Trump for being a pedophile.
Babylonian Talmud.
And also Maduro is a piece of shit, but like that's not something they did wrong to us. That's just like, again, like, you know it's bad when I'm supporting Venezuela because fuck Maduro, but I want them to win.
In the Talmud, Rava is discussing the nature of dreams and says, quote, "For one is neither shown a golden palm tree nor an elephant going through the eye of a needle in a dream. In other words, dreams only contain images that enter a person's mind." Jesus read the Talmud, so his conception of the phrase was likely informed, at least in part, by this conception of the meaning. The Talmud describes the idea of a large animal going through the eye of a needle as not only impossible in reality, but impossible to even imagine. Impossible to even picture or dream. Seriously, try it right now. Try to imagine.
How do I untime out? Ah, Jesus Christ, there's so many of them. Either way, I'm about to end anyway. But, yeah, no. These people go to hell. Rich people go to hell. Thanks for letting me know, credibly, no one. Sorry, Latino Mifune, but I am ending now anyway. We'll be back tomorrow, and, like, the main thing that I want you to take out of this is don't fall for the right-wing grift. Don't allow them to set the narrative. Don't let them feel comfortable. Make them feel afraid. And next time we're going to learn about how you can find out exactly who these people are, where they work, and maybe who you can report them to. Monday. Oh yeah, tomorrow's Labor Day for y'all anyway, isn't it? So that'll be fun. It'll be the Labor Day OSINT stream. I will see you all next time then. 1500-ish IRC. Eastern Standard Time wise, it'll be about the usual start time of stream. So like 7:30, 8:30 Eastern. I've been having trouble like getting up in time lately. I'm so excited in 1 month where the clocks will reset and then I don't have to wake up and like 2 o'clock in the morning to stream properly. Oh yeah, Labor Day, the day I do labor. Many such cases. Sean Hannity left New York because too many people gave him nasty looks. Imagine what else we could do. You could do a lot. And you know what? Just one more thing for the Americans. In case, you know, they get started on Chicago today, or, you know, any other case, bring some joy. The idea here. Incorporate footy chants into the protests.
Americans. I don't mean like the MAGA ones, I mean like the other ones. So if you're not an American who's
the only ones
going to be at the protest, keep scrolling. Now, witnessing your music festivals, I think there's one thing that can make them a lot better, and it's football chants. Hear me out. Obviously, the States is really shit at chanting, you know, fight and win. But just imagine how pissed off you're going to get this little orange cunt if you start chanting like, Putin is your brother, Epstein is your lover, you all fuck one another, the Trumpy family, you would go fucking mental. You could have the call and response. What do you think of Trump? Cunt. What do you think of cunt? Trump. Thank you. That's all right. We hate the Trumps. We hate the Trumps.
I really like. Thank you. That's all right.
The Trumps. We hate the Trumps. We are the Trump haters. You pretend. You pretend. You pretend you're not a ped, but your daughter's in your bed. Anything. Anything. Just it.
Do it. It's so fun. Bring the joy. It has to feel like a footy chant. It'll break them. And it will be funny. So please do. Alright, we're gonna drop a raid into Kid Not Kid on the Twitch and YouTube. I will see you guys next time. And I hope you all have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.
But also, in the United States, to say that? In the